Chapter 51. Based on the nearby scene, the main task is now released to capture the gem meat. Task reward, 3000 points. Li Ziming looked at the huge Ligera mammoth in front of him. It was worthy of being a capture level 48. Its body was huge. If it could keep up with the food and continue to grow, it would probably have no rivals in the entire natural world. Suddenly, the Ligera mammoth let out a loud roar. Apparently, she hadn't seen her child for a long time and her mood became irritable. She just took a step and stepped on something, and a sound of electric current was heard. When the Ligera mammoth walked over, Li Ziming took a look and realized that this was a new GT robot. How could it be so lame? He kicked it to pieces. Who is it? Ah, who is it? Isn't this Bishokyukai's new GT robot? What's your hobby? You like chewing on people's heels. Whoever you are, just wait for me defeat the new GT robot, Ziba, and get 28 points. Nanny, it seems like there are flies buzzing. Li Ziming looked at the new GT robot whose crushing core was triggered, and taunted Wei Wei's signal, which made the controller so angry that he smashed his helmet directly. Looking at the GT robot that didn't respond at all, he put it directly into the system backpack and gave it to Director Mansum when he got back. He would have to treat him to a meal and make a good living for him. Just as he was about to fly towards the Ligera mammoth to capture the gem flesh, a laser rushed towards him. Fortunately, Li Ziming reacted quickly and was not penetrated by the laser. However, when he saw that his somersault cloud was slightly penetrated, Li Ziming became angry. Turning around, he saw a huge pink GT robot with its beak open towards him. He met one right after he encountered another. This time it was really a good thing for him. Moreover, it was a giant GT robot, a rare thing. Li Ziming immediately came to the side of the pink GT robot, punched it and sent it flying, then quickly chased after it and pinned it down so that it couldn't get up. You're asking me to use laser to shoot my somersault cloud, right? I made you shoot lasers, I made you pink, I made you a giant GT robot, I made you wear chains, and I made you silent. After venting his anger, the giant pink GT robot had been beaten into a stick. All four limbs were removed by Li Ziming and placed into the system space. Just as he was about to speak, Li Ziming directly crushed the core of his GT robot. Really, he gave you face and you still had the chance to speak. Defeat the pink giant robot, Godo, and get 29 points. Now that I have the points and the giant GT robot, I should be able to speed up my progress in Igo. When I really make it, I can play with it myself. I think it will be fun to control it. In that case, I must also get a set of micro GT robots. After putting away the giant pink GT robot, Li Ziming drove the somersault cloud and chased after the Ligera mammoth. It didn't take long before he arrived not far behind it. Li Ziming was thinking at the moment, which way would be better to enter, the anus or from the mouth. One was safer, the other might be bitten. After thinking for a while, he decided that it would be better to enter from the mouth, which was simple and quick. So while the Ligera mammoth was breathing and eating, he flew directly to its mouth on his somersault cloud. Seeing the Ligera mammoth's teeth, Li Ziming couldn't help but sigh at its huge size. The last time he saw such big teeth was in another cartoon. He remembered that it was a dragon with some people living on it to help the dragon brush its teeth and maintain it. After jumping off the somersault cloud, Li Ziming flew towards the body of the Ligera mammoth. This flight was incredible, as the Ligera mammoth's long esophagus was several kilometers long. After flying for a while, he finally arrived at a place that he didn't know whether it was the stomach or the lungs. There were all kinds of small particles everywhere. What was surprising was that various trees grew inside the body of the Ligera mammoth. It was thought that when it sucked the beasts, it also sucked some seeds into its body and took root and sprouted. Orange salt tree, fruit capture level 1 or below. White apple tree, fruit capture level 1 or below. Black pineapple tree, fruit capture level 1 and below. Cinnamon grass, plant capture level 1 and below. Seeing these fruit trees and the cinnamon grass under the trees, Li Ziming was stunned. He didn't know how much vitality they had to be able to grow here and even produce fruit. This is truly a world of gourmet food where anything can happen. Li Ziming went straight over to pick the fruits. There were hundreds of fruits on the trees. The orange-scented fruity rock salt and cinnamon grass could be used as seasonings. The gem meat would be the perfect match with these two seasonings. White apples can be eaten directly, they are sweet and sour, and have a milky and refreshing taste. As for the black pineapple fruit, it is naturally not a pineapple, nor a pineapple, but a black pear. It tastes like frozen pears, icy, sweet, and delicious. After putting these fruits into the backpack and preparing to leave, another genius came out of the body of Ligera Mammoth. Oh, it's the blue GT robot. It's that so-and-so, the one who likes to collect eyeballs. Oh my goodness, you GT robots are really coming in droves. Who the hell are you? Eat my celestial flower. The blue GT robot opened its beak, revealing a laser launcher covered with tentacles. In an instant, 7 or 8 lasers flew towards him. When Li Ziming saw this, he instantly became excited. Wow, other GT robots only have 1 laser, but he has 7 or 8 lasers. This must be the plug-in of the GT robot. It seems that he will have something to play with in the future. Flying shovel return. These lasers shot out and instantly bounced back to the blue GT robot with double the force, causing him to be knocked away. At the same time, a brown thing ran out of his mouth, then gradually expanded and grew tentacles all over his body. Million Octopus, Mollusca Capture Level 25. The moment Li Ziming saw the $1 million octopus, he immediately became excited. Various delicacies such as grilled octopus legs, octopus tentacles, and takoyaki began to emerge in his mind. As long as he caught this one, he could go back and make all kinds of delicious food. Needless to say, he came directly in front of the 1 million octopuses in one step. The next second, he directly triggered the invasion of its body, crushed its heart, and easily captured the 1 million octopuses. Kill 1 million octopuses and get 25 points. Upon seeing this scene, the blue GT robot not far away became furious. This was the beautiful eye that he had found with great difficulty, but was killed directly by Li Ziming. The uncle could tolerate it, but the aunt could not. He immediately rushed towards Li Ziming, ready to show him how powerful he was, but as soon as he arrived in front of Li Ziming, he knelt down. For a moment, the blue GT robot was confused. What was that thing that tripped me just now? Yes, it was Li Ziming who triggered it and directly tripped the blue GT robot. You're so polite. It's not even Huxia New Year yet, and I don't have any red envelopes. UBD, it must be you who did it. Forget it, I don't want to play anymore. See you next time. As soon as the blue GT robot stood up, he found that he could not control his body. It was not because of anything else, but because the core of the GT robot was broken, and he knelt down again. Kill the blue GT robot, Sidoru, and get 30 points. After putting away the GT robot, Li Ziming also discovered the eyes of various beasts on its body. These might be a bit scary in other worlds, but in this world, they are a rare delicacy. Roasted eyeballs feel pretty good. After collecting the beast's eyeball, Li Ziming also walked towards the body of the Ligera mammoth. No one should be able to stop him now. As Li Ziming went deeper, the surrounding flesh walls gradually became shiny, and at the same time a strong meaty aroma wafted over. Following the fragrance, a ball of golden flesh appeared in front of Li Ziming. Chapter 52. Li Ziming looked at the big golden meatball in front of him. He had clearly eaten it just now, but the strong meaty aroma instantly made his mouth water. The patterns of the pork belly on the gem meat looked as if they were carefully polished by a craftsman. It was extremely beautiful. The juice flowing from the gem meat was like liquid gold, emitting a dazzling light. The charming meaty aroma that awakened the primitive eating instinct of human beings was more fragrant than any meat he had ever smelled. Even the most high-grade perfume could not match it. At this moment, Li Ziming was very moved. Full of gratitude, he cupped his hands, caught some of the juice flowing from the gem meat, and drank it. Thanks for all the food in the world, I'm going to eat. The moment he drank the gravy, a mellow taste stimulated his taste buds. At this moment, he felt that he tasted meat from every part. At the same time, a refreshing meaty aroma stimulated Li Ziming's body, and his Sharingan also changed accordingly. The Sharingan, which was constantly absorbing appetite, was now stimulated by the juice of the gem meat and upgraded from a single Megatama to a double Megatama state. Not only did its vision greatly improve, but the time around it seemed to slow down, and it seemed that the ability to copy was activated. Li Ziming feels that after his Sharingan evolves to Manjiki, he may not be the same as those in the Naruto world, but will instead develop more powerful abilities. But that was all a matter for the future. After getting used to the dual Megatama Sharingan, he set his sights on the gem meat and drank the gravy. So it was time to eat the meat. The moment I reached out and touched the gem flesh, I felt a soft touch as if I were touching my own face. The main quest, capturing the gem meat, has been completed. Task reward, 3000 points. The next moment, Li Ziming's right hand turned into a hand knife and cut off a piece of gem meat. The splashing gravy seemed to be celebrating this great moment and blooming like brilliant fireworks. Looking at the glittering gem meat in front of him, he could no longer suppress his appetite and immediately put the gem meat into his mouth to taste it. The moment it entered his mouth, Li Ziming was instantly stimulated by the deliciousness of the gem meat. This taste went straight through his body, like an electric shock, awakening all the cells in his body, and every cell felt incomparable joy. At this moment, he no longer cared about other things and focused on chewing every bite of gem meat. As he ate, he couldn't help but shed tears. These two words ran through his heart. Tasty. Gem meat is a collection of ingredients from various parts, and the piece that Li Ziming ate just now was tenderloin, which was very tender and refreshing, and had no mutton or fishy smell. It is worthy of being a delicacy that can be eaten raw, and it is indeed extraordinary. Excited, he cut another piece of gem meat and started eating it. This time it was hard like meat, crunchy and chewy. The more he chewed, new gravy would flow out, and it was not greasy at all. It was simply perfect. As Li Ziming cut into the gem meat and tasted different parts of it, his body began to glow with golden light, like a low-profile version of a Super Saiyan, and his hair began to flow. This is just eating it raw. If it is cooked, the taste will probably be much more delicious than it is now. Thinking of this, Li Ziming stopped, then cut the gem meat and put it into the system backpack. Now it was time to go back. Such delicious ingredients must be shared with everyone. He performed the flying dance technique and returned directly the same way. Not long after, he flew out of the mouth of the Ligera mammoth. He looked at the surrounding environment and found that he was still in the Ligera plain. But now that the gem meat has been captured, it is time for Director Mansum to release little Ligera-chan and let him return to his parents. He called the somersault cloud and flew it towards the Food Research Institute. Li Ziming also called Director Mansum. Ding ding ding. Moses, Chief Mansum, the gem meat has been successfully captured. Oh my god, you managed to capture it all by yourself. Of course, Chief, has Ligera-chan finished the inspection? I've checked it out, and I think it's still too small, and no gem meat has formed. Then let it go. The parents here are going crazy. Okay, I'll have someone send it back. Here, Xiao Ligera-chan had also made arrangements, and Li Ziming also asked about the situation of the wolf fight. Hearing this, Director Mansum smiled bitterly and said that the matter was a bit complicated and could not be explained clearly over the phone for the time being, so it would be better to wait until he came back to talk about it. After hearing this, Li Ziming's mood fluctuated. With Master Jiro around, there shouldn't be any accidents. In order to find out what was going on, he rode on his somersault cloud and quickly flew towards the Food Research Institute. Flying down the Ligera plain, when passing by the battle forest, Li Ziming saw a familiar creature. It was a spider-like dragon with 2 heads, 8 legs, and 2 tails. Nilong, mammal capture level 28. Li Ziming thought about it and felt that this Nilong was just a fence-sitter, he would follow whoever was stronger, he was just a traitor, and he had no use at all, he was just a mount for Terry, and he had no chance to appear in the later stage. But he couldn't just leave it like that. After all, he had already acknowledged his master, and he was a member of Bisho Kyokai. Li Ziming simply flew down and came in front of Nilong. Upon seeing this, Nilong immediately pounced towards Li Ziming, obviously unaware of how powerful he was. After receiving a beating of love, Nilong successfully changed his master. Defeat Nilong and gain 28 points. Li Ziming asked Nilong to stay here, but not to attack humans. He would come back to pick Nilong up. Hearing the order from his new master, Nilong naturally did not dare to disobey and found a place to hide. Then the somersault cloud took off again, and soon he arrived in front of the Food Research Institute. As soon as he came back, he saw little Ligera-chan, being carried by many planes, flying towards the Ligera plain. At this time, Li Ziming also saw Director Mansum and flew towards him. Director Mansum, what on earth happened? You're back. It's nothing. We were just invaded by GT robots. Director Mansum then told Jiro everything that happened after his arrival. After Jiro arrived, he used healing water on the clone wolf, which was very effective. After a short while, the clone wolf's spirit was much better, and Coco also found that her deathly look was gone. Seeing this, Jiro also had a gloomy face and went to talk to President Yulong. But soon after he left, the clone fighting wolf gave birth to the little fighting wolf Terry. But just when they were sticking to each other, the new GT robot disguised as a staff member took advantage of the clone fighting wolf's weakness and shot lasers at them. Fortunately, Toriko was nearby and noticed the abnormality in time. He used the energy fork to block the laser. He was angry and immediately started fighting with the GT machine. Although he was slightly injured, he still successfully took down the new GT robot. Toriko's protection was also appreciated by the two fighting wolves, for which he gave the fighting wolves names. One is a familiar name, Terry Cross, as for the other one. Chapter 53. Listening to Director Mansum's answer, isn't this the same as the original book? But the ending is good, at least it allows Terry to feel his mother's love for a while. From the beginning to the end, Li Ziming's goal was very simple, to let the cloned fighting wolf survive and let Terry have a happy childhood. He didn't want to break up Toriko and Terry's partnership, but it was time to put his own animal partner on the agenda. Following Director Mansum all the way, they soon arrived at the cloned fighting wolf delivery room. They saw Toriko sitting on the side eating, and Terry snuggled up to his mother. When he saw Li Ziming coming back, he immediately waved at him excitedly. "Welcome back, my dear Kui, Li Ziming. It's a good thing you let us come back, otherwise the Dulangs would have been hard to escape the clutches of the Bishokyokai. I'm glad you're okay. But since you're back, does that mean it's gem meat? We have successfully captured him. Gather everyone and have a party." Li Ziming took out the gem meat from the system backpack. In an instant, everyone's eyes were fixed on the gem meat. They were instantly attracted by its fragrance and pork belly-like patterns. Even the two fighting wolves slowly stood up, drooling at the corners of their mouths. At this moment, other people also appeared one after another. Coco, Sunny, Komatsu, Ling and others were also attracted by the strong smell of meat and came to the delivery room, their eyes full of desire for jewel meat. Seeing this, Li Ziming burst into laughter, then handed it to Director Mansum beside him, asking him to take Komatsu to cook the gem meat. Of course, Igo can take some away for research, maybe they can find a way to quickly generate gem meat. Mina, it's time for a party. Oh. Just as he was about to go over to take a look, Li Ziming was pulled over by Toriko and came to the side of the two fighting wolves. The clone fighting wolf stood up, brought Terry, came to Li Ziming, and lay down in front of him to express his gratitude. "I told her that you are their savior, so she came over to thank you." When Li Ziming saw the two fighting wolves, he was filled with emotion. To be honest, although doing good deeds does not require any reward, deep down in his heart, he always fantasizes about what he would be like if he was rewarded. Squatting down, Li Ziming touched the heads of the two fighting wolves and the cute little Terry. His fur was very soft and had a faint scent of milk. It turned out that the cubs were the cutest. The cloned fighting wolf here is 10 times larger than Terry, and its white fur is also very soft, which makes people wonder if it was produced using PRI. Named the little one Terry Cross. You should give her a name too. Listening to Toriko's words, Li Ziming also started thinking about what name to give Terry's mother. Turning around and looking at the clone fighting wolf, Li Ziming instantly had an answer, "Just call me Shirley. Please give me your guidance, Shirley." Wow! Unexpectedly, at this moment, Li Ziming looked at Ti Shirley and Terry in front of him, and suddenly remembered that they were cloned from the fighting wolf that destroyed the end of death in ancient times. Although they were cloned, they were also the incarnations and children of that fighting wolf. If they were arranged according to the current seniority, then the Wolf King genes would have to call them ancestors. Thinking of this, Li Ziming couldn't help but laugh out loud in his heart. Of course there is another possibility. After all, the fighting wolf that destroyed the end of death might have been pregnant, and it was very likely Terry. If he survived at that time, he might have been the Wolf King genes or his ancestor. Time passed slowly as Li Ziming and Toriko fought the wolves, and the night enveloped the entire sky. They brought the fighting wolves to the open-air dining table, and soon the staff brought over a large plate of cooked gem meat. The moment the plate was opened, a golden light emanated from it. Who said that there is no glowing food among the captives of gourmet food? This gem meat is one of them. Its sparkling appearance directly illuminates the night sky, just like the rising sun. The jewel meat was cooked by the chef and neatly stacked on a huge plate. It emitted a sparkling light. Everyone who saw it shed moving tears. Of course, it was also possible that they were dazzled. "Eat, Mina-san. Thanks for all the ingredients in the world, we're going to start eating gem meat." Everyone took a piece of steak from the middle plate in turn and put it on their own plate. Of course, even the fighting wolves and the king crows got one. Everyone's knife lightly cut through the meat, and the gravy gushed out instantly, as if beautiful fireworks were blooming. Seeing this scene, everyone was moved. Then they put it in their mouths and tasted it. Everyone's eyes changed instantly. The taste was refreshing and satisfied everyone. This was the feeling of eating meat, and it was such delicious gem meat. Everyone took another piece after finishing one. After all, each part tastes different. For example, the steak in Li Ziming's mouth tastes like tenderloin, melts in the mouth, is very smooth and tender, and has no greasy feeling. For example, this piece of steak tastes like liver. It has no peculiar smell, but the taste is different from the others. The strong meaty aroma is mixed with a creamy taste, and it is silky and dense in the mouth. Another example is this piece that tastes like pork belly, with various meats and fats stacked on top of each other, and each bite has a different taste. In an instant, everyone was enveloped in happiness, and at the same time, the surface of their bodies began to glow. It was obvious that every cell in their bodies felt an unprecedented sense of satisfaction. But at this moment, Komatsu heard the sound of the gem meat and felt that it could be refined further. After expressing his idea, Toriko took out the arm-shaped gourmet seasoning and gave it to him. Seeing this, Li Ziming also took out orange salt, cinnamon grass, and various seasonings that he had picked before, to see if he could get Komatsu to mix a special seasoning. After being specially prepared by Komatsu, several ingredients were selected, put into a gourmet seasoning machine, crushed, and then turned into powder and fell from the machine onto the gem meat. The rich meaty aroma of the jewel meat, combined with the seasoning made by Komatsu, makes the taste even more refreshing and sweet. Upon seeing this, everyone immediately shared the piece of gem meat. In an instant, the light on everyone became even brighter. Even Li Ziming felt that his hair had turned into that of a Super Saiyan. At this moment, Toriko finished eating the gem meat, holding the glass and looking at the moon, and was ready to use the gem meat as the meat dish on her life menu, but at this moment, Sunny's gourmet cells were instantly activated, and for a time he directly crushed the brilliance of Toriko and others, and could even be compared with Li Ziming. Needless to say, everyone must know that Sunny and Toriko both want to add gem meat to their life menu, but because they look down on each other, they are unwilling to have the same dish as the other. At Li Ziming's suggestion, the two started the ultimate showdown between men, rock paper scissors. After 3 rounds of competition, Sunny finally won the game and added gem meat to the main dish of his life menu. Seeing them like this, everyone laughed happily and continued to taste the gem meat. While Li Ziming was looking at the plate of gem meat with seasonings, he suddenly thought of a seasoning that might greatly enhance the flavor of the gem meat. That seasoning is the stars of milk. Chapter 54. I got up early in the morning and opened the window, and the sunshine was beautiful. Waking up from the hotel in the first ecological zone, Li Ziming looked at the weather outside the window. It was very good, but he had been here for several days and it was time to go back. As for Komatsu, he went back to the gourmet hotel to work the next day after eating the gem meat. After washing up, I woke up Toriko and the others, explained the situation, and then went to the restaurant for breakfast. I have to say that the breakfasts here are all different and are all high-end dishes. Corn soup tree, ham, and egg grass, paired with pear bread, is simple and nutritious. During these few days, Li Ziming also consolidated his strength a little bit. Of course, he couldn't stop practicing Zen. As time went by, the number of his heart-peeping pen grasses also increased. During this period, he also handed over the 3 GT robots to Director Mansum, asking Ego to quickly develop its own GT robot and give him one to play with. And their intimacy with the fighting wolves is also increasing, especially Terry and Toriko. The relationship between the two makes Ling very annoyed. However, when Ling learned that they were going back, she felt very reluctant. Toriko, can you please not leave? Ling, if you can't bear to leave him, why don't you just move into her house? Ah, Omega. When Ling heard Li Ziming's teasing, her face suddenly turned red, and she ran to the side with a shy scream, which made everyone laugh. Only Toriko, the young and ignorant one, stayed where he was and touched his head. After eating and drinking, they were ready to leave. Coco sat in the Emperor Crow, Sunny sat in a special plane, and as for Li Ziming and Toriko. Somersault cloud. In the sight of everyone, a large somersault cloud appeared in front of them. That's right, Li Ziming spent 10,000 points to upgrade the somersault cloud, sub-cloud, to the somersault cloud, main body. After upgrading the somersault cloud, his points that originally exceeded 10,000 were now only 4,024 points. Just like that, Li Ziming took Toriko and 2 fighting wolves and boarded the somersault cloud. Everyone went their separate ways at this moment, but I believe that everyone will see each other again soon. But just after takeoff, Li Ziming felt like something was missing. He looked back at Toriko and the 2 fighting wolves in the clouds. They were all there. After thinking about it, it turned out that the traitor Nilong was missing. Li Ziming simply let the somersault cloud fly to the battle forest, used his chi to sense it a little, and soon found him. He simply let the somersault cloud split into a piece and went to take it over. Unexpectedly, Toriko let out a surprised cry after seeing Nilong. Isn't this the Nilong? There is another one in this place. You conquered it. Well, there was a GT robot that was its owner before. I beat it up and it started to listen to me. Of course, but be careful, this guy is a traitor and will betray you in an instant if he meets a strong person. Don't worry, I'm its only master in this life. Sitting on the somersault cloud, they also flew towards Toriko's home. Although the upgraded somersault cloud was much larger in size, its speed did not decrease at all. Instead, it became even faster. In a short while, they were back. Unexpectedly, when Toriko came down and took a look, he was shocked. Where is my house? Where is my huge house? Only some crumbs were left of the cookie house that was originally here to prove that they had not gone to the wrong place, but soon Li Ziming found a row of footprints, which seemed to be the traces of the culprit. Upon seeing this, the 2 men sent out 2 fighting wolves. Following the footprints, they soon found the opponent, a fat crab pig. In just a few moves, Shirley successfully hunted down the other party and came back with Terry. Li Ziming was very happy to see them bringing back the crab pigs, but Toriko felt empty inside. However, he quickly adjusted himself. He didn't want to hold on for too long in the first place, and with Li Ziming's crazy biting, it was expected that the cookie house would retire early. But for the crab pig that ate your house, you must savor its flavor and reward your stomach. Then the 2 of them immediately lit the fire and started grilling. After a short while, the 6-legged crab pig was roasted to a deep brown color and exuded a charming meaty aroma. Seeing that it was almost done roasting, Li Ziming divided it among everyone, taking 1 piece and me another. After dividing it, they started to taste it. It is tender and smooth in the mouth, with a perfectly roasted skin that is crispy and full of the aroma of pork and the unique flavor of crab. The 2 are mixed together to create a wonderful delicacy. As Toriko was eating, he still felt empty in his heart whenever he thought about his house being eaten by the crab pig. But now that it was gone, there was nothing he could do. He could only find someone to build a new one. Then Toriko looked at Li Ziming. Li Ziming, how much gem meat and puffer whale do you have? There are still dozens of kilograms of gem meat, and there are plenty of puffer whales. What are you going to do? Invite the builder to dinner. You also want to build a house, so why not build it together? It's not impossible, but I want to keep some of the gem meat. I'll have plenty of puffer whales. Having said this, Toriko immediately called her friend with full confidence and asked him to help build 2 houses. Soon, a voice came from the other end of the phone. This person was Smile, the top architectural genius in the world of food. He could use food materials to build the most luxurious and suitable mansions. He was known as the youngest genius architect of the current food tower and was also the face of the food city. Hey, Toriko, what's going on? The house is finished. Yeah, Smile, long time no see, I hope you're eating well. That's it. Tell me, what kind of house are you going to build this time? All is fine, but can you build 2 sets? I have a friend here. Hearing this, Miles frowned. No, Toriko, I can handle all of this. He just captured the puffer whale and the legendary gem meat. I built yours easily, so what does your friend's house mean to me? Building a house is as easy as stretching out my hand. Okay, Smile, we'll wait for you here. By the way, why don't you go catch some food while you're here? I'll buy some and build a luxurious place for you. Okay, let's go now. After hanging up the phone, Toriko made an oak gesture to Li Ziming. Now they just needed to collect some ingredients. Although Li Ziming's system space still has a lot of materials, for building a house, the more the better, and the longer it can last, the better. For your own house, you naturally need to use good materials, such as the rock drum. After eating the crab pigs, they got up and prepared to look for some food. They sat on the somersault cloud, chose a direction at random, and left the rest to food luck. Half an hour later, they flew to a mountain range, and they thought they could catch a lot of food from there. As soon as they came down, Ziming and Toriko saw a grassland covered with countless mushroom puddings. Mushroom pudding, natural food capture level 1 or below. Chapter 55. In front of Ziming and Toriko, there were chewy caramel puddings in all kinds of colors and flavors. I picked one up and tasted it. It was sweet and delicious, very tender in the mouth. It looked like a mushroom, but it had a milky taste and was very silky. What are they waiting for? The two of them picked up the bags and started mining. As for their animal companions, they also started tasting them one by one. Soon, Ziming and Toriko collected a lot of mushroom puddings, but at this moment, the fighting wolves discovered new ingredients next to them. Marshmallow rock, natural food capture level 1 or below. Marshmallow tree, natural food capture level 1 or below. The rock-like marshmallows have a crunchy texture when eaten, and feel like they are made of countless compressed marshmallows. They are hard and sweet, and are suitable for making into cups, drinking coffee, and can also be eaten as candy. The marshmallows on the marshmallow tree are very fluffy and taste sweet, but they don't melt easily like ordinary marshmallows. They are also heat insulating and can be made into a bed or cushion so that you can eat them while sleeping. My mother no longer has to worry about me grinding my teeth and drooling in my dreams. Upon seeing this, Ziming immediately began to pick the fruits and put them into the system space to see how Smiler would match them to the house. After collecting the marshmallows, the fighting wolves started chasing their prey. They found some alpacas covered with biscuits. The two men became interested instantly. Biscuit alpaca, mammalian capture level 7. Terry, Sydney, just take the cookies, alpacas are not tasty. Roar. The fighting wolves moved quickly, and in no time, they had knocked out and pinned down the biscuit alpacas one by one. The two then began to collect the biscuits from the alpaca and tasted one. They were very crisp and exuded a sweet taste from the inside out. It felt like if they had a cup of hot tea, it would be a delicious afternoon tea. After all the biscuits were collected, the biscuit alpacas woke up and ran away in fear. After praising the two fighting wolves, Ziming looked around and discovered that Nilong had run off to some unknown place. Suddenly, he heard a sound of water not far away. When he looked for the source of the sound, he saw Nilong coming over with some kelp in his mouth. When Toriko saw it, she realized that this was lotus kelp, which was great whether eaten raw or cooked. It was a rare delicacy, and it seemed even more delicious when made into oden. Compared to Toriko's observation of kelp, Ziming discovered that the lake where Nilong came out was actually soda water, with bubbles bubbling out of the water all the time. After tasting it, I found it very refreshing, with countless bubbles bursting in my mouth, just like popping candy. It is especially suitable to be eaten with greasy meat, and it feels very refreshing. Ziming directly took out from his backpack a natural rubber backpack and a gourmet suitcase for liquids. There were many more in his backpack, all of which were taken from the Gourmet Research Institute. After pressing the switch, a lot of bubble water poured into the rubber backpack in an instant, from half a meter to more than 10 meters, and then Ziming turned off the switch. After repeating this process over and over again, Ziming's system space was filled with more than 20 bottles. This was enough for him to drink for the time being. Anyway, the place was not far away, so he could come back for more supplies when it ran out. After we finished this, Toriko suddenly jumped out from the lake and brought back some pink candies. Upon closer look, they were actually sweets. Coral picked up one and ate it. It felt like eating candy beans, crunchy and not very sweet. It felt suitable as a snack. Ziming, there are some jellyfish down there, go catch some. Okay, I'll go take a look. Ziming then took off his shirt and jumped into the soda water lake. When he opened his eyes again, he was shocked by everything in front of him. What a colorful world! Jellyfish of various colors swam among the sweet corals. It seems as if this is not an underwater world, but an oil painting, so beautiful and moving. Jellyfish, natural fish capture level 1 or below. At this moment, a group of jellyfish swam past him. Ziming directly controlled the trigger and caught all the jellyfish in one fell swoop. He originally thought he could get a lot of points, but he found out last time that he could not get any points as long as the capture level was below level 1, so he didn't get any points this time. But it didn't matter. He didn't need any for the time being anyway. All he had to do was capture this group of jellyfish, put them into the system space, and then looking at the desert corals below, Ziming began to hoe the ground. After collecting a large amount of sweet corals and putting them into his backpack, Li Ziming jumped out of the lake and returned to the shore. Take out a few and share with Toriko and the wolf and dragons the taste of this jellyfish. It tastes slightly sweet at first, probably because of the soda water. When you sip it with your tongue, you can taste the delicate taste mixed with the sweetness of the fish meat, just like eating fish jelly, which is quite novel. After collecting the ingredients here, it will be noon, so it is time to have lunch. Can you believe that Toriko, with the help of her nose, could actually smell the aroma of rice bowl in the middle of nowhere at night? Following the smell, the two actually found many opened fruits in the woods. When they took a look, they found that there were various kinds of rice with gravy, such as fish-flavored shredded pork rice, pork chop rice, fried shrimp rice, and duck leg rice. Rice bowl fruit, natural food capture level 1 or below. Li Ziming was very shocked that there was such an ingredient, but Toriko behaved very normally. It seemed that he had eaten similar ingredients before. Toriko, have you ever eaten rice bowls grown from this plant? Yes, I have. I've also eaten a ramen octopus whose entire body is made of ramen noodles, and a willow tree covered with soba noodles. I'll take you to try them later. Okay. I picked up a dish of fish-flavored shredded pork with rice and took a bite. I can't say it's 100% like the ones made in the restaurant, but it tastes about 80% like the ones made in the restaurant, and it's quite good for filling my stomach. After everyone picked one and ate it, Li Ziming collected all the fruits. There were as many as 40 or 50 of them. Although they could finish them all in one meal, they still saved them for a midnight snack. After eating, they also started their afternoon search for food. However, there were a lot of sweet things in this place, including candy canes, rainbow candies, light bulb candies, various giant donuts, and even colorful lollipops. But what surprised Li Ziming the most was that he saw several horses covered in macaron shapes eating pudding mushrooms not far from them. Macaron, mammalian capture level 3. Li Ziming came in front of them in a flash, manipulated the trigger and killed them. Seeing this, Toriko immediately ran over to check. Capture 4 macarons and get 12 points. The two were just about to taste the macarons when Toriko's phone rang. Toriko, where are you guys? I'm here. Sorry, Smiley, we'll be right back. Chapter 56. Carrying numerous food ingredients, Li Ziming and Toriko immediately rushed home. Not long after, they returned on the somersault cloud. I saw a man in a blue and white shirt who had been waiting here for a long time. It was obviously Smiler. When he saw a yellow cloud floating down, his eyes widened instantly, thinking that some ferocious beast was coming to eat him, but when he heard Toriko's voice, he gave up the idea of escaping. Yo, Smale! Toriko, I was so scared, I thought some wild animal was coming. Ha ha ha, this is my friend's mount, the somersault cloud. Seeing this, Li Ziming also came over to greet Smale. After all, he was a talented designer. Maybe he would have to ask him to plan the travel cloud in the future. It was always right to be friendly. Achievements: a magician who controls ingredients to build. Achievement reward, 10 points. Hello, I am Li Ziming, the acting teacher of Shilin Temple. Hello, I'm Smale, a designer from Smale office. Seeing the two people introducing themselves so formally, Toriko patted them on the shoulders and said, now that we know each other, please help us build a house. That's fine, but where are the ingredients? I don't see them. Upon seeing this, Li Ziming directly took out the ingredients caught today from the system space. The next second, a pile of ingredients dozens of meters high rose from the ground, which made Smale's mouth twitch. This is too much. You want me to build a department store? Where do you get these ingredients from? Number O. Ha ha ha, not really, not really. Just take your time and do what you think. Yeah, as long as you can stay longer, and this is just for Toriko, mine is over here. As soon as he finished speaking, Li Ziming took out his own portion, and another pile of ingredients appeared, which was even more than Toriko's. Seeing this scene, Smale pinched his philtrum to prevent himself from being angered by the two of them. He was really not afraid of being exhausted to death. I'm really impressed by you two. It looks like another difficult commission. Ha ha ha, take it easy, Smale, look over there. Looking in the direction of Toriko's finger, a golden puffer whale appeared in front of him. Smale's eyes widened instantly. This was the puffer whale that swam back once every 10 years, was worth 100 million, and would cost 500 million after being dissected. First, I'll give you a puffer whale. When you're done, I'll give you some gem meat, too. Good. Li Ziming took out a table, chairs, and benches from his backpack, then took out a milk kitchen knife and began to cut sashimi. Although he was not a professional chef, the thickness of the slices was quite good. At this time, Toriko was grilling fish fins and preparing to drink fish fin wine. Smale sat at the dining table in a daze, watching Li Ziming cut. Soon, a plate of crystal clear puffer whale sashimi appeared on the table. At this time, the fish fins were also grilled, and the fish fin wine and sashimi were ready. Of course, there are also various braised dishes. Li Ziming has a lot more, and there are also a few devil snake burgers. Smiley has arranged them all. Don't look at it, eat it, Smale, these are all rare delicacies. Good. Seeing this, Smale didn't hesitate and directly picked up a piece of sashimi with chopsticks and put it into his mouth. The moment it entered his mouth, the delicious stimulation spread throughout his body. It was fresh, chewy, sweet, and tasty. After swallowing it, the freshness of the sea also spread from the fish meat as he swallowed. It was so delicious, followed by fish fin wine. I took a bite of sashimi and tasted a glass of fish fin wine. It was warm and mellow, with a long aftertaste. What followed was the health-enhancing benefits of eating puffer whale. Smale's spirits were not good to begin with. He often stayed up late to design architectural drawings, and his health was not as good as before. After eating the puffer whale, he felt that he would be fine even if he stayed up a few more nights. How's it, Smiley? It's delicious. It's so delicious, Toriko, thank you Li Ziming for letting me eat such delicious food. Hearing this, Li Ziming replied with a smile, you're welcome, buddy. Boom 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 boom. At this moment, Li Ziming's phone rang. He was very confused. Only a few people knew his phone number, and it had only been a short time and they called him. After checking the number, he saw that it was Master Salang. Li Ziming immediately stood up and went to the side to answer the phone. Hey, kid, I heard from Mansam that you and Toriko took the fighting wolves away. Yes, Master Jiro. Master Jiro was silent for a while, then said, okay, treat them well. You are not strong enough to enter the food world, so try to let them eat some high-end food, which is good for their health and strength. After hearing Master Jiro's advice, Li Ziming naturally did not dare to neglect it. However, looking at the fighting wolves and the Nilong eating the golden puffer whale, he thought he should feed them more high-quality ingredients. After all, although the starting point of the fighting wolves is very low, the upper limit is very high, especially Terry. If he remembered correctly, Terry became the Wolf King in the later period. Now with Shirley leading the way, I think he will be able to grow quickly and become a good helper to Toriko. But forget about Nilong. This rebellious son might betray us in some way. Just follow them. Recently, I discovered a food ingredient from the gourmet world, baby corn. There is some growing in the Wu forest of the Wu continent in the natural world. You can go there and collect some. The fighting wolves should like it very much. Okay, thank you Master Jiro. Well, that's it. Hearing this, Li Ziming understood everything at a glance. As expected of Master Jiro, in the original book he also captured some baby corns and found Tom to sell them, so Toriko knew the news. But now that we know it in advance, we can catch some baby corn while Smiley is building the house. I just don't know how many days it will take to build it. After returning to the dining table, the three of them began to feast on the food. They finished all the delicious food on the table, but Smale still felt a little unsatisfied. Thinking of the gem meat that was even more delicious, he instantly became excited. Leave your 2 houses to me. I'll have a construction team come and build them right away. After hearing what Smale said, Li Ziming also asked about the construction period. Thank you so much, how long will it take? There are a lot of ingredients. If you two build a house together, it may take 2 or 3 days. I'll do it as soon as possible. That's up to you, Smale. Li Ziming then repeated to Toriko what Master Jiro had just said. When he heard about BB corn, he instantly became excited. Although she has never been to the food world, Toriko has always had the urge to go there since she was a child. This is a good opportunity to see how difficult it is to obtain the food in the food world. After Smile's construction team came over and gave a few brief instructions, Li Ziming and Toriko took the fighting wolves and the Nilong on the somersault cloud and flew towards the distant Wu jungle in the west. Target, BB corn, let's go. Chapter 57. After a long journey on the somersault cloud and flying for nearly 12 hours, Li Ziming and his party finally arrived at the Wu continent, which is close to the food world in the human world. After all, we flew from the easternmost part of the human world all the way to the westernmost part, a distance of nearly 65,000 kilometers. You can imagine how big this world is, and this is just the territory of the human world. Moreover, the human world only occupies a small part of the planet. The rest is called the food world, a forbidden area for humans. It is full of ferocious beasts that can be captured at level 100 or above. Humans can only survive in this small area. At this moment, Li Ziming and his group had also rested for a night on the somersault cloud. When they arrived, it was exactly 6 or 7 in the morning, and the sun had just risen from the east. Looking at the front, the Wu continent, which covers an area of 1.02 billion square kilometers, is the third largest continent in the human world. The northernmost part is the Wu jungle, a dangerous forest known as the plant hell. As you fly over, you can see countless big trees and plants that reach into the sky. BB corn grows in that place. Although you can fly directly up there, since you are here, you have to explore a bit and find some other food to eat. They chose a suitable place to land. After getting down, what caught their eyes were countless flowers. Yes, they were peace flowers. Peace flower, plant capture level 1 or below. Seeing this, Toriko immediately picked a few flowers and put them on his waist. After all, this kind of flowers can be used to simply judge the enemy's level based on the murderous aura. But Li Ziming didn't need to do that because he saw something else. The last time I saw the wine palm tree was on Hankrila Island. Seeing it again this time is a good opportunity to replenish some of it. After all, this kind of wine is quite delicious. Li Ziming flew up and picked some. Although there were only 3, fortunately there were wine palm trees around, so this was a big harvest. At this time, Toriko chased after it and was very excited to see the wine coconut. Just as she was about to go forward to help, she saw the cheese grass blooming under the tree. This is a great thing to go with wine. While the two of them were doing their own activities, the animal group was also busy. Nilong found a big peach and was about to bite it when a huge rat crawled out from the ground. Peach fur beast, mammalian capture level 6. The moment the peach hair beast came out, it saw the presence of Nilong and the 2 fighting wolves. It was so scared that its peach fell off its chest and it ran away in panic. The fighting wolves and Nilong were very confused and full of questions. But since they got the peach, they pushed it in front of Toriko. He naturally saw everything that had just happened. After praising the 3 little ones, he used a knife to divide the peach into 5 parts. Li Ziming had just picked the peach. When he learned what had happened, he laughed. However, since he had obtained the peach, he had to taste it carefully. I picked up the peach and started to eat it. It was crisp in the mouth and had a strong peach flavor. It was worthy of being called the peach rat. The peaches were specially grown to attract hunters and were sweet and delicious. Although Li Ziming and Toriko ate very deliciously, the fighting wolves did not seem to be so appetizing. After taking a few bites, they gave all of their food to Nilong. It seemed that they were starting to lose their appetite. After seeing this scene, the two were helpless but had no choice but to go look for baby corn so that the fighting wolves would not be so anorexic. Li Ziming and his group also walked into the Wu jungle. Not long after they walked, the forest revealed its terrifying side. There were all kinds of carnivorous plants that madly devoured the small animals passing by. Looking at these plant lives, Li Ziming and Toriko also realized that these were most likely not life forms from the human world, but seeds and spores blown over from the gourmet world, but they were all relatively weak existences. Based on the current environment, the main task is now released: capture BB corn. Task reward, 5,000 points. As soon as the words fell, countless birds appeared overhead and began to spray towards them, like a flock of pigeons that had been fed laxatives. Countless feces fell from the sky. Li Ziming naturally knew what was happening, so he simply took out a few large leaves to block them. After they escaped the dung rain, countless animal-eating plants grew rapidly from the dung. This was an important part of this plant hell. Birds act as media, eating fruits with seeds, and the seeds are carried to new places in their feces. I think some seeds have come to the human world from the food world in this way. I wanted to leave immediately, but Li Ziming saw an unusual seed in the pile of feces, which was actually shining and then grew into a small tree of was-hixing sauce. Looking at the sauce hanging on it, Li Ziming remembered that this seemed to be the sauce that Komatsu was looking for. How could his food luck be so good that he came across it as soon as he arrived? But at this moment, what was supposed to appear finally appeared. A huge tree spirit controlled the nearby vines and reached out towards Li Ziming and his group. Unexpectedly, as soon as he got close, the vines were bitten off by Sydney in a few bites. Thinking of the scene in the original book, it was a good opportunity for Sydney to teach Terry how to hunt using the fighting wolf method. Sydney, teach Terry how to hunt. Roar. Tree spirit plant animal capture level 33. Shueli's body has fully recovered, and her capture level has already exceeded her original level. It is easy to deal with a tree spirit plant, but unfortunately this is a teaching game. Just to let Terry understand that their most powerful weapons for fighting wolves are their sharp claws, tough teeth, and extraordinary speed. In just a moment, Shueli passed by like a meteor, and some vines of the tree spirit plant were all bitten off by Shueli. Seeing this, Terry quickly ran over and imitated his mother's operation. A white figure rushed out. Although it was not as good as Shueli, he had learned about 70% of her movements. The two fighting wolves immediately started fighting towards the tree spirit plants. Wherever they went, the vines were bitten and torn off. Their speed was so fast that it was like hurricanes. Seeing this scene, Li Ziming felt like déjà vu. Isn't this Yatonja from Naruto? I can't say they are 100% similar, but there is some resemblance. In a short while, the two fighting wolves bit off all the vines of the tree spirit, turning them into a long wooden pole. Although these vines can regenerate, one can imagine how slow the regeneration speed is. But then, Li Ziming discovered something strange. A trace of white substance was revealed at the place that had been bitten by the fighting wolves. He asked the fighting wolves to step back and he went up to perform the autopsy himself. Capture the tree spirit plant and gain 33 points. When the dryad's body was dissected, a crystal clear object appeared. Toriko came over to check it out and gave the answer: the tree heart is edible and tastes good. It usually appears in special trees, but she didn't expect that it could also be found in the dryad. Li Ziming took it and tasted it. It was similar to sugarcane, crisp and sweet, with a lot of water, and it could be pulled into threads. It felt similar to the heart of a palm tree or banana tree, but sweeter and more delicious, and richer in nutrients. Afterwards, Li Ziming distributed the other tree hearts to Toriko and the fighting wolf and Nilong to taste, and he returned to the Wu Star Sauce tree. At this moment, the Star Wu Sauce fruit has flashed once and become a little bigger. It feels like it can be picked soon. But who would have thought that these fruits would flash again after a while? Chapter 58. Li Ziming looked at the fruit of the Wushixing sauce tree that flashed before his eyes again, and was very curious about what it would look like in the end. In the original work, Komatsu was forced to pick the fruit of the Gonohoji sauce after only seeing it flash for a moment, without waiting for it to finally ripen. It was a pity. Now he has the time and energy, and Toriko and the others are here, so it's okay to wait for a while. After a short while, the fruit, which was originally the size of a palm, flashed again with the Wushixing sauce, and this time it turned into the size of a soy sauce bottle. Obviously, the Wushixing sauce at this moment was the real finished product, and both its taste and size had reached the limit. As Li Ziming picked the fruits, he successfully obtained 35 ripe Wuzi sauce fruits, which was indeed a bumper harvest. However, the Wuzi sauce tree withered instantly the moment he picked them, and disappeared without a trace in a gust of wind. It is indeed an ingredient that can only be obtained by relying on food luck. If Komatsu had not tripped, he would not have been able to obtain the sauce fruit. Now that he had obtained the sauce fruit, it was time to capture the BB corn. He remembered that this thing seemed to go well with BB popcorn. He was just about to tell Toriko that BB popcorn was right above their heads, but Toriko spoke first. Li Ziming, look at the trees around you, they are growing so fast. I feel like there must be something in that forest above. When Li Ziming heard what Toriko said, he immediately told him the truth. You guessed right, Toriko, the top should be baby corn. So what are you waiting for? Come on, I can't wait to see it. Start climbing the tree. Li Ziming and Toriko were the first to jump onto the tree and began to climb. Li Ziming originally wanted to fly, but there were too many branches, so he decided to crawl slowly. The two fighting wolves followed their footsteps. As for Nilong, it jumped and hopped, and began to use its long tongue to pretend to be a failed man. Soon, they climbed several hundred meters high, and these thin branches were able to bear their weight, especially the 7 or 8 tons weight of the Nilong. Li Ziming felt that Igo could set up another branch here. After all, there are not many ferocious beasts above the forest. There are only baby corns absorbing nutrients from the jungle to grow. It is very feasible to serve as a prison in an ecological zone. After a short while, they broke through the encirclement of the forest and successfully reached the top. All they saw was the blue sky and dozens of huge and plump corns drying in the sun. Each one was bigger than the last. The small ones were as big as a watermelon, while the big ones were as tall as more than 10 stories. Finally found some baby corn, the fighting wolves will have something to eat. Ah! The moment they saw the baby corn, the two fighting wolves became excited. After all, it was a food buried in their genes and one of the favorite grains of beasts in the food world. It was found in several continents. It was only because this place was close to the food world that these baby corns would not have come to the human world. Before Li Ziming could say anything, Toriko came to a baby corn that was more than 1 meter tall, ready to chop down a few to give to his friends. But after he finished praying, he found that this baby corn was really different. Not only was the corn husk very thick, but it also seemed that there were a lot of corn kernels inside. Toriko tried to pull the corn directly off the corn stalk, but he found that with his strength, he couldn't even move a small corn. It was as if he was not breaking corn, but pulling up the entire forest in place. After trying again, Toriko decisively gave up this method and prepared with a knife. As a result, he only cut off a layer of skin with one knife. Toriko was stunned. The fiber of this baby corn is really complex and its strength is even harder than alloy. After he immediately added countless cuts with his knife, Toriko finally cut the small baby corn stalk in half, and then showed it to the fighting wolves and Li Ziming. Well, Toriko, how strong is this corn stalk? It's too hard. You have to remember, Toriko, BB corn is just a grain in the world of gourmet food. It is the food of countless beasts. Capturing BB corn is probably the easiest thing for them. So, don't underestimate the world of gourmet food, and don't be so arrogant as to risk your life. I know, don't worry, I'm not such a person without plans. Seeing Toriko like this, you know that he didn't take this matter seriously. I think that thing will probably happen again, but for him, it is not a bad thing. At least it makes him know his own strength. At this moment, Nilong discovered a huge BB corn, which was as high as several floors. It was probably the largest BB corn here. When Li Ziming and Toriko came over and saw it, they immediately exclaimed in amazement. When Xueli saw this, she tried to cut it off with her claws, but it only left a layer of marks. Obviously, although Xueli was a fighting wolf, her level was still too low, and she couldn't even do anything about the branches of baby corn. Seeing this, Toriko jumped directly onto the branches of the baby corn, ready to start from the corn cob, peel off the husk and take out the corn kernels. Seeing this, Terry also jumped up immediately, and together with Toriko, they explored and witnessed the true appearance of the inside. Li Ziming didn't stop them after seeing this. He sat on Nilong and watched the two silly guys' operations with Xueli. Then he opened the system store and quickly found what he wanted. Krillin's Qi Yuan Zhan, price, 1000 points. Master System, give me a Qi Yuan / points minus 1000 Qi Yuan Zhan has been issued. Soon, Li Ziming learned the Qi Yuan / Of course, it was only the most basic Qi Yuan / which could only be thrown in a straight line. It could not track the enemy like Krillin did later. Obviously, he had to either buy another one or figure it out on his own to see if he could figure it out. After all, Krillin is the strongest human on Earth, with a high level of comprehension, but his upper limit is that he can't keep up with the pace of Goku, Vegeta, and others, and his combat power cannot be improved. In addition, for the enemies in the later stages, regeneration is a basic skill. Otherwise, this Qi Yuan / would be a true magical skill. If we were to name the person he envies the most, Krillin would definitely be one of them. After all, he married number 18. Convex. When he came to his senses, Toriko and Terry had already pushed aside the baby corns in front of them and started to bite and cut the corn silks madly. Li Ziming saw this and exclaimed what a pity it was, because this stuff can be used to make tea. How sweet must the baby corn silks be? Soon, the true appearance of the baby corn was revealed. Looking at the dense corn kernels in front of them, Toriko and Terry screamed instantly. Li Ziming flew up and saw that Toriko was trying to pull out a kernel. Looking at the baby corn kernels in front of me, the size of each kernel is almost the same as the gold nuggets in MC, but they are rounder and there are a lot of them. As expected, there are basically as many corn kernels as there are silks of corn. Toriko, use your spike fist from behind. Oh, you have to be the one to find a way. Toriko jumped directly behind the giant BB corn, then put her hands together and began to thank the BB corn before capturing it. Thanks to BB corn and all the life in the forest, I'm getting started. After expressing his gratitude, Toriko began to gather strength in his arms. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 consecutive punches were fully charged, and he blasted towards BB corn. In an instant, the outer skin of the BB corn produced ripples of fist marks, and the after effect was directly transmitted to the corn kernels. The originally dense BB corn kernels expanded instantly, and then dozens of corn kernels popped out. BB corn, captured. Chapter 59. Looking at Toriko and Terry who were celebrating, Li Ziming looked at the giant baby corn. So many of them popped out, who would have thought that there were still corn kernels underneath the corn kernels. Although the baby corns below were enough for them to eat, it was not a good idea to just leave them there. While Toriko and Terry were picking up the corns below, Li Ziming came to the giant baby corn stalks. Chi Yuan Slash. A continuously rotating Chi Yuan Slash appeared in Li Ziming's hand. At this moment, Toriko and the fighting wolves became instantly nervous, looking at the Chi Yuan Slash in his hand because they felt a fatal threat. Li Ziming controlled the Chi Yuan Zhan, aimed at the giant BB corn stalk and threw it over. The next second, it flew directly through the corn stalk into the sky, and the giant BB corn instantly lost its support and began to fall. The air dance technique was activated, and Li Ziming caught the giant baby corn, and then put it into the system backpack. Main quest, capture BB corn to complete task reward, 5,000 points. Toriko, the fighting wolves and Nilong were stunned when they saw this scene. You cut such a thick baby corn so easily. At this moment, there are only a few words in their minds, this boy is so terrifying. Li Ziming didn't care about their looks. He flew directly to the front of other giant BB corns and started harvesting them using Chi Yuan Zhan. After all, these were BB corns. He should take this opportunity to collect more, otherwise he would have no choice but to do it later. Moreover, he felt that the key element slash was particularly useful. When he had free time, he would study it carefully and comprehend the tracking key element slash. Then he would see if he could use its powerful cutting power to transform it into a hand blade, hand sword, or air sickle like Zamasu. Soon, all the giant baby corns within a few miles were put into Li Ziming's backpack. Of course, he also collected some small ones. The small ones are good for making popcorn at home, while the big ones require special kitchen utensils to make. Toriko, popping BB popcorn requires a lot of heat. I think the Wolo volcanoes in the southwest are perfect for making popcorn. Okay, I'll listen to you, let's go. After summoning the somersault cloud, they all got on it and headed towards the volcano group in the southwest direction. If nothing unexpected happened, they would be able to taste the flavor of BB popcorn in a short while. Soon, they arrived near the Wolo volcano. It must be said that the temperature became hotter as they went deeper, so they seemed to be almost there. After taking just 2 steps, they felt the soles of their feet were burning hot. Fortunately, they quickly stepped back and thus avoided being cooked by the ground. It makes sense. The temperature below the magma is about 1,400 degrees, and the ground they just stepped on is at least 100 degrees. It's not even close to the rock that can cook baby corn. However, Li Ziming also thought of a way. Why not sit on the somersault cloud and roast? Anyway, our cloud is windproof, fireproof, waterproof and electricity-proof. It is just right to sit on it. At the same time, it can also exercise Toriko and the fighting wolves, let them adapt to the high temperature and prepare for going to the high temperature places in the food world in the future. But the main cloud was still too big, so Li Ziming simply pulled a few sub-clouds from the main cloud and each person sat on one of the sub-clouds. This was just right, as it allowed them to adapt to high temperatures while preventing burns. Sitting on the clouds, they also came to the rock building where baby corn could be cooked. The layers of rock slices just matched the different temperatures, which just met the requirements for cooking baby corn. Coming to the top piece, Li Ziming and Toriko each took out a piece of baby corn to cook, first slowly heating it on the low temperature rock, so that it would not easily burn and would also make the baby corn sweeter. During the process, the flipping operation was carried out by Li Ziming's trigger. With the help of the cloud splitter, they did not have to sit on the rocks, and could also descend to the hotter rock slices. Soon, as the baby corn kernels were slowly roasted, Li Ziming and Toriko had reached the lower floors, but with that came scorching temperatures. Although Saiyans have strong combat power and are more resistant to heat and cold than ordinary people, it does not mean they are not afraid of heat and cold. Li Ziming also discovered that his heat tolerance was not much different from Toriko's. He thought that if he entered the food industry, he would also be troubled by factors such as exposure to the sun, gravity, freezing, and thin air. He needed more experience. But he felt that if he exploded, his resistance might be greatly improved. If he became a Super Saiyan, these probably wouldn't be a problem. Soon, they reached the bottom rock, where the temperature was as high as 1200 degrees. Their body temperatures were almost dozens of degrees Celsius. Their bodies were hot and they sweated profusely, but they were still not roasted. It is conceivable that their heat resistance is constantly increasing, and the gourmet cells and S cells are constantly dividing and transforming, gradually adapting to such high temperatures. Fortunately, they have rainbow juice as a supplement, so they don't become dehydrated. At the same time, they can also replenish a large amount of energy, which can be used as a supplement for the upgrade and transformation of gourmet cells. Just as the sky gradually darkened, the baby corn began to jump slowly as it was roasted. Li Ziming and Toriko were very happy to see this, because popcorn was coming. Under the watchful eyes of Li Ziming, Toriko, the fighting wolves and Nilong, the two BB corn kernels expanded and exploded, a golden light flashed, and countless popcorns were blasted into the sky. It suddenly started raining baby popcorns from the sky. Li Ziming couldn't bear to see the delicious baby popcorns burnt, so he immediately sent his somersault cloud over to catch the rain of baby popcorns. When Li Ziming and the others returned to the main body of the somersault cloud, countless BB popcorns were already piled on it. Picking up a popcorn and holding it in their hands, they could not even feel its weight. It was more like a marshmallow than popcorn. This BB popcorn smells especially fragrant, and the crust looks like fried pork chops. One is as big as half of Li Ziming's head. I would like to express my gratitude to all the ingredients in the world, BB popcorn, I will pop them all. After saying that, Li Ziming took a bite of the BB popcorn. In an instant, a delicious taste surged into his brain and spread throughout his body. At the same time, his hands and feet began to eat it all involuntarily. Then he began to eat the BB popcorn in big mouthfuls. He felt that he could finish all the BB popcorns for hundreds of people. Every time you eat one, you can taste the rich corn aroma, and after being roasted, the taste becomes even stronger. Although the shell is crispy, the popcorn melts as soon as it enters your mouth, just like eating marshmallows, sliding smoothly into your throat. The most important thing is that he felt like he ate BB popcorn, but he didn't eat anything even though he had eaten it. His appetite was stimulated, and he felt even hungrier and wanted to eat more food. Sure enough, BB corn was the most appetizing one and was the number one in stimulating appetite. Glancing sideways, I saw that I was not the only one doing the same. Toriko, the fighting wolves, and Nilong were all doing the same, eating the BB popcorn with relish. At this moment, the Wulu volcano began to erupt, and countless volcanic ashes rushed towards them. Fortunately, these volcanic ashes can also be used. They contain a small amount of salt. When they fall on the BB popcorn, they directly turn the original BB popcorn into salt and pepper popcorn. Li Ziming, I feel this BB popcorn is especially suitable as an appetizer on my life menu. Oh, I agree. As long as it suits you. After saying that, Li Ziming took out the star juice fruit he had picked earlier from his system backpack to celebrate this moment. I think it should go well together, so let's try the BB popcorn with the pentahoji sauce. Chapter 60. Take out a plate and pour the sauce into it. Of course, the shells cannot be thrown away. Put them into a gourmet grinder, mash them easily, and then blend them into the sauce. Then pour it on the BB popcorn, the sauce will instantly blend into it, and the color will become more attractive. Put it in your mouth and taste it, the fragrant Wuzhixing sauce makes the BB popcorn even sweeter and more delicious, and you can't stop eating it. Li Ziming was eating baby popcorn and drinking rainbow juice, but he felt like something was missing. After thinking about it, he realized that it was just missing a good movie. These were things you only eat in the cinema. Just as he was thinking this, an uninvited guest arrived. A man with double pupils and 4 hands holding a straw appeared. This man was Gilan Baki, one of the 3 deputy chefs of Bishokyukai. Achieve silver achievement, double pupils are the way to invincibility, multiple arms, multiple paths. Achievement reward, 100 points. As soon as it came up, Gillenbacke used its damn straw to suck up all the baby corns. Li Ziming was speechless when he saw this. Come on, why are you trying to steal the food? I just took a bite. BB popcorn is so delicious, can I suck up the fighting wolves too? Cannot. In a flash, the fighting wolves sensed the threat posed by Gillenbacke and jumped away. At the same time, Gillenbacke began to suck the fighting wolves with a straw. The suction force generated formed a hurricane, and it seemed that it would not be long before Sydney and Terry would be sucked over. Without Li Ziming's help, Toriko immediately used his knife to interrupt Gillenbacke's spell. Although it paused the spell, it did not cut off Gillenbacke's straw. Seeing this, Toriko immediately followed up with another kick, and the straw made by the devil mosquito was cut off in an instant. When Gillenbacke saw this, he was stunned. He didn't expect Toriko to have this trick. Toriko, it's from Bishokyukai. As expected of a man recognized by Star Jun, he actually saw through my identity right away. Bishokyukai? That cruel Bishokyukai, what is your purpose? Hearing this, Gillenbacke said disapprovingly, our goal is the ingredients called God. Toriko was stunned when he heard Gillenbacke's words. He had heard the legend of Acacia capturing God since he was a child, so since he became a gourmet hunter, he had eaten a lot of ingredients. Although there were many main dishes that fit his life menu, he gave up when he thought of God, because he wanted to improve his strength and capture God as his main dish in his lifetime. Before he could react, Gillenbacke said something shocking, God will appear in the next 1 or 2 years. Nani? We, Bishokyukai and Yurigo, have already started to take action. As the eclipse approaches, even our boss's appetite has increased. We have to cook a lot of food to appease the boss's appetite a little. Do you understand? The era of gourmet food hundreds of years ago will once again reach a new climax with the emergence of God. Hearing Gillenbacke's words at this moment, Toriko became completely excited. It was indeed the ingredient she had always dreamed of. Its influence was so wide that even Bishokyukai was scrambling to eat it. God, how delicious it must be! I have already decided to make God the main dish on my life menu. Toriko, you are also planning to take advantage of God, which means we will definitely fight. To save trouble later, why not settle the matter now? Li Ziming looked at the two people who were on the verge of a fight. He knew that they would not be able to fight each other because their strength was not at the same level. After all, Gillenbacke was a deputy chef with similar strength to Star Jun. You, a person who can enter the food world, have the nerve to bully a food hunter who is still in the human world. Okay, stop it, your phone is ringing. Oh, how did you know? What are you doing? We were just about to start a fight. What? The boss had a big appetite and told me to go back quickly. Okay, got it. That's all for today, Toriko, Li Ziming, our mountains and rivers will remain unchanged, and we'll see you in the food industry. At this moment, a huge beetle with an elephant's trunk flew over with a bag of corn in its hand. It was Gillenbacke's pet. Jack Giant Armored Elephant, Insect Beast Capture Level 85. Gillenbacke let out a foul-mouthed roar and blew himself directly onto his pet. As Jack's giant armored elephant needle flapped his wings, he flew into the sky in a flash. He's really fast. Who is he? Li Ziming. Bishokyukai's deputy chef, Gillenbacke, don't underestimate him, he's strong enough to survive in the gourmet world. Kai Kixiu, my BB popcorn, I will beat him to death next time I see him. Don't worry, that day will come. After Gillenbacke left, Li Ziming and Toriko started cooking baby popcorn again. They could eat some on the way back to whet their appetite, and then go to Komatsu's hotel for a big meal. Soon, with the experience from last time, the two of them quickly cooked a few more pieces. The Woolo volcano also flashed golden light again. After catching them all with the somersault cloud, it was time for them to leave. Sitting on the somersault cloud, with their backs against the wolf, eating baby popcorn, pouring was-hixing sauce on them, and drinking soda water, Toriko and Li Ziming also hurried back home. More than 10 hours later, when Li Ziming and Toriko returned to their home, they saw 2 candy parks where the ingredients were originally placed. One was particularly luxurious, with a lot of cookies and candies on it, obviously from Toriko, the other was plain and mostly made of rock drum shells, obviously from Li Ziming. At this moment, Smale was directing the construction team to carry out the final decoration, and Li Ziming saw this, so he let the somersault cloud descend and came in front of him. Smire. Hearing the sound, Smale turned around to check and found that it was Li Ziming and Toriko who came back, and there were many corns on the somersault cloud. Hey! Li Ziming, Toriko, you guys are back just in time, I'm almost done here. Okay, now it's done, I'll treat you to some delicious food, it's as good as gem meat. Hearing this, Smale became excited and personally took part in the construction team's final renovation process. Not long after, the two houses were officially completed, and Li Ziming successfully owned his first house in this world. Get the gold achievement and find a place in another world. Achievement reward, 1000 points. Seeing this golden achievement, Li Ziming was very happy. He finally had a place to live, and it was such a luxurious house. He didn't even have a house in his previous life, but in this life he finally became a house owner. Under the guidance of Smale, Li Ziming also opened the door of his room. Wow! Chapter 61. Li Ziming pushed open the cookie-cutter door of his house, and what came into view was the luxurious chandelier and the rock drum floor. Different from Toriko's foodie room, he focused on durability. The longer one can live in it, the better. Although one can't live in it for a few years, after all, this world will fall apart soon. When you walk into the house, the first thing you see is the soda water waterfall and pool, with a lot of jellyfish as decoration, which is very clever. Then there are walls covered with cookies and desserts everywhere, the colors are very bright, and all kinds of candies and cookies are pasted on the walls. Although most of them are made of food ingredients, there are also many modern things, such as the TV in the living room. The sofa is made of marshmallows and is very soft. It is a pleasure to lie on it and watch TV while eating. The kitchen is even more ingenious. Not only are there various ingredients and kitchen utensils, but there is also cold and hot water, various teas, hot milk, hot chocolate, coffee, and of course soda water, and even rainbow juice. If the other drinks are finished, someone can add more, but if the rainbow juice is finished, Li Ziming needs to add it himself. The master bedroom is extremely luxurious. Not only does it have a natural marshmallow bed, but it also has some muffins as decoration. If you feel hungry when you wake up in the morning, you can have some muffins. Although there are still many places to see, Li Ziming is very satisfied with the house. At this moment, he really wants to sing a song, I want to have a home, a place that doesn't need to be too big. I have to say that the house built by Smile is indeed a super luxurious house. It is worthy of being the masterpiece of a genius designer. It is really a design that is ingenious and amazing. Smiley, I am very satisfied, thank you. Being brothers, in our hearts, we are all brothers. Since Smale had already built the house, it was natural for Li Ziming to pay the final payment. He called Toriko from next door over and prepared to eat. Let Smale eat some BB popcorn first, then he went to the kitchen and started cooking gem meat. Although he didn't have much gem meat left, he still had some in the first courtyard. After all, he was little Ligara-chan, and he had a mother, so he must have a father. After simply cooking the gem meat, put it in the tableware made of rock drum and add some seasoning. At this moment, Smale couldn't stop eating. This was the legendary BB popcorn that only gourmet aristocrats eat. It really lived up to its name, it was so delicious that he couldn't stop eating it at all. It was just like the slogan of a certain chewing gum. Unexpectedly, after Li Ziming brought out the gem meat, the two of them stopped instantly. They had finished the appetizers, so it was time to eat the main course. This is jewel meat. It smells so good. Putting the gem meat in front of the two people, Smale happily forked a piece and put it in his mouth to taste it. With a bite, the full juice gushed out. Every time he chewed it, it was not only very chewy, but also very elastic. Ah, this is the combination of heart and loin. Li Ziming and Toriko started eating upon seeing this. They had to admit that this gem meat was indeed a collection of meats. Every time they ate it they had a different feeling. And with the addition of BB popcorn, they were already extremely hungry and started eating. It didn't take long for the three of them to eat the gem meat. Of course, Li Ziming also took some and gave it to the three outside. 3. After eating and drinking, Smiley was very satisfied. It turned out that he still had to eat some rare ingredients, otherwise he would have no motivation to work. Thank you, Li Ziming, Toriko, for letting me eat such delicious food. Li Ziming and Toriko looked at each other and said to Smale, brother, I'll treat you next time if we have something else delicious. Okay, it's settled then. Watching Smale's figure disappearing into the darkness, Toriko came to Li Ziming and said, you said, we have a new house, how about inviting our friends over to celebrate tomorrow? Not yet. I don't want the house I just built to be eaten up in one day. Besides, there's nothing good to eat right now. I'll invite everyone over after I catch some rare ingredients. That's true. Darkness enveloped the earth, and it was time to say goodbye. After saying goodnight to Toriko and the fighting wolves, Ziming returned to the room and began to sleep. He had not rested well at all during the past 2 days in heaven. A few days have passed. These days, Ziming has been staying at home and cooking a lot of popcorn. For this, he asked Tom to buy him a super large popcorn machine. It was not for any other reason. He knew the plot and he just didn't want the fighting wolves to get hungry and come back to eat his house. Sure enough, the next day, the plot began and it was time to drink soup. The sunlight shone into the master bedroom from the windowsill and sprinkled on Ziming's bed. As the temperature increased, a sweet smell began to fill the entire room, and Ziming was successfully awakened. After yawning, Ziming tasted his marshmallow quilt. Ah, it was so sweet that he felt like he was still in a dream. Not long after, he successfully woke up, not because of anything else, but because he ate up the quilt bite by bite. I went to the kitchen, turned on the faucet, and the hot coffee flowed out. I caught it in a cocoa cup, added some hot milk, and a cup of cappuccino appeared. Ziming casually took a cookie from the wall, took his coffee to the living room, sat on the marshmallow sofa and watched TV, ready to see what was happening in the world. Just after taking 2 sips of cappuccino, his neighbor Toriko rushed into his house excitedly, shouting loudly, very excited. Ziming, it's my turn, it's my turn, I made a reservation at Jino Canteen, it's finally my turn. Looking at the excited Toriko, Ziming instantly realized what was going on. Although the chefs on the cooking list all have their own restaurants, they need to make a reservation if they want to eat there. That's because they listened to the voice of the ingredients and respected the ingredients, so they chose to open on the day when the ingredients are happy. This is especially true for Jino Shokudo. Get ready, Ziming. I'll take you to Jinai Canteen for dinner tonight. Sure, thank you so much, but it's so early, why don't you go to the gourmet hotel to eat something and ask Komatsu if he's free? You can have this. After that, the two of them prepared food for the fighting wolves and the Nilongs, then set off on their somersault clouds. Not long after, they arrived at the gourmet hotel. Before they could even say anything, the waiter took them to the big table. Apparently, with so many people coming, the waiter had a full understanding of how much they ate. After noting down their orders, he quietly went to the kitchen to find Chef Komatsu. Half an hour later, Komatsu showed up with a group of people pushing carts to serve food to Ziming and Toriko. Mr. Ziming, Mr. Toriko, long time no see. Oh, Komatsu, long time no see. Let's sit down and eat together. I'll treat you to Toriko's appetizer. What did I miss? Mr. Toriko's appetizer has been decided. Seeing the surprised Komatsu, Ziming quickly asked him to sit down, then took out a few pieces of BB popcorn from his backpack and placed them on the plate in front of Komatsu. Komatsu woke up immediately after smelling the aroma and started to taste Toriko's appetizer, baby popcorn. As soon as he took a bite, Komatsu became excited instantly. It was the first time for him to eat such delicious popcorn. The moment he put it in his mouth, it was so delicious that he swallowed it directly like Zhu Beiji eating ginseng fruit. It's so delicious. Not only is it very refreshing, but it's also very appetizing. It's worthy of being the snack that the gourmet aristocrats ate in the past. Thank you so much, Mr. Ziming, Mr. Toriko. When Komatsu looked at Ziming and Toriko, he was stunned for a moment. The food that had just been served had already been eaten by them, and the empty plates were piled up into several layers. By the way, Komatsu, we're going to the food city, do you want to come? Manfu City Food City, go, I want to go, I'll go get the money now. Chapter 62. Ziming and Toriko walked out of the high-speed rail station and looked at the familiar scene, their hearts full of excitement. The last time they came here was last time, and they didn't expect to be back here again so soon. At this moment, Komatsu, who was far behind them, also broke through the crowd and came to them. Mr. Ziming, Mr. Toriko, wait for me. Seeing the bustling scene in front of him, Komatsu was very excited. Over the years, he had been staying in the kitchen and rarely walked around. He basically had never been here. He was very happy to be able to come along this time. Wahahaha, this is the food city. I haven't been to the city for a long time. Oh my, this must be your first time here. At this moment, the trio noticed the trio next to them, looked at each other, and felt that they looked very familiar. Both parties suddenly thought of a song that was very suitable for this situation. I seem to have seen you somewhere X2. Ah no, what is appropriate at this time is, Kimi no, then by wa, Made Kauno world wa. Ah, zombie brother. You are the zombie. I am Zonkai, the gourmet hunter Zonkai. Yes, it's better than my brother. I'm Zonkai, no, Zonkai. After chatting for a while, the topic was finally over. After refreshing the gourmet ID, Li Ziming and his trio successfully entered. As for Zonkai and his trio, as they did not have a gourmet ID, they had to argue with the security guard for a while and finally paid the money to get in. Of course, this is all later. Li Ziming came to the self-service beverage machine, looked at the flavors on it and said to the two people next to him, "What do you want to drink? I'll treat you. I don't mind. Me too, it's all right. This, 100,000 per bottle, is too expensive." Looking at Komatsu's appearance, he was still the same. Li Ziming simply chose a few bottles of drinks at random. With a black card, he was so generous. There was no other way. He had to make a contribution. After giving the juice to them, the three of them walked towards the distance. It must be said that there are really a lot of delicious food here. After just 2 steps, they arrived at the familiar roasted monster bird shawarma shop. "It's Toriko, give me one, Toriko. Who are you looking down on? Just get off work, they are all ours. I just used the black card and all the roasted monster birds were mine." Toriko took the roasted monster bird shawarma and started eating it. Komatsu's scalp tingled when he saw it. It was the first time he saw someone eat like this. But what shocked him was yet to come. This was Toriko, and Li Ziming came to a shop selling grilled boneless sari. Heika took out his hand and started to feast on it. The fish meat was crispy on the surface and tender on the inside, and it tasted especially good. Many people like to eat fish, but there are too many bones in it, which can easily PK the throat, so some people don't like to eat it. But this boneless sari is definitely liked by many people, after all, it has no bones. Seeing this, Toriko and Komatsu immediately came over to taste it. As expected, the boneless fish meat was delicious and particularly fresh, especially when grilled. After eating these delicacies, have 2 slices of deodorizing ginger. 1 slice of pickled ginger can bring out all the flavors of the food you ate before. It can be said to be a standard feature of a food city. After all, it is free, and it tastes sour and sweet and is very appetizing. People like to eat it. While it was still early, Li Ziming and Toriko started to indulge in gluttony, eating ramen one moment and sushi the next, which made Komatsu feel helpless. This is the power of the unlimited black card. It was not until the afternoon that Li Ziming and Toriko were finally satisfied. Now they don't have to come here for a while. Next time they come, they will go to the food tower or wait for new stores to appear. At this moment, Komatsu was very curious and asked the two about the purpose of coming to the food city and why he asked him to wear a suit. What were they doing here? It's time to eat, Komatsu. Have a meal. You'll know in a moment. We still have some time, is there any place you want to go? Hearing this, Komatsu suddenly became excited. Can we go to the gourmet department store? Soon, the trio arrived at the 5th floor of the gourmet department store, which was where the cooking tools were. There were not only kuruf pots, but also milk knives, which made Komatsu very excited. But in this era, although there are countless delicious foods for people to eat, at the same time, people's wallets are basically empty because they have all been spent on food. Therefore, even for a chef in a 5-star hotel like Komatsu, buying a milk kitchen knife is a huge expense. Although Li Ziming wanted to give one to Komatsu, he knew that the kitchen knife that belonged to Komatsu was just a material now. Besides, anything in the mall that could be bought just now cannot be bought now after someone appears. That, I want it. I want that one too. This one is not bad either. Take it. Never mind. It's too much trouble. I'll take care of everything in this store. I'll buy everything. A short old man appeared with countless treasures on his body and countless things piled behind him, showing that he was a food tycoon. Achieve gold achievement and become the world's #1 food tycoon. Achievement reward, 1000 points. Looking at this familiar old man in front of me, this rich man is no ordinary one. He owns the largest consortium in the world and has an annual income of 20 trillion. He is the well-deserved richest man in the world. The World Soup chapter was initiated by him, with a total of 10 billion, which instantly aroused the fighting spirit of all food hunters. Of course, he also has a hidden identity, a member of NEO, the third largest organization in the food world. However, Li Ziming looked at him and did not sense any aura. He thought that the person here was just a robot, and he didn't know where the real person was. Now that the mall was closed, there was nothing for the trio to do. Just as they were about to leave, a group of food robbers showed up and started snatching the goods. Unfortunately, they didn't check the calendar before going out. After taking just 2 steps, they were knocked to the ground by someone. The person who knocked them down was an old lady with crutches. That's right, this person is Granny G, one of the 4 national treasures of gourmet food. Toriko, you're too late. I've already bought the ingredients. Granny Setsuno. Achieve Gold Achievement, Grandma is the Food National Treasure Festival. Achievement Reward, 1000 points. Toriko immediately checked her phone and realized that the appointment time had arrived. She didn't expect it to be so soon. At this moment, Komatsu realized that the person in front of him was none other than the national treasure of gourmet food, the legendary cook, Ms. Setsuno. No mistake, Komatsu. Tonight, we can drink the legendary soup. Li Ziming immediately stepped forward and greeted Grandma Jinai. After all, we are from Shilin Temple, so we are related. Hello, Grandma Jinai, I am Li Ziming, the acting teacher of Shilin Temple. I know. I was listening to your call last time. You're great. But speaking of which, you 3, what a terrible hairstyle. If you want to wear a suit, keep your hair neat, said Granny Setsuno as she fixed Toriko and Komatsu's hair. Seeing this hair, Toriko and Komatsu were stunned. What kind of aesthetic is this, a suit with a crew cut? Li Ziming naturally knew what this meant. She immediately controlled her hair and turned it into a real crew cut, then showed it to Grandma Jino. What do you think of my hair shape, Granny Setsuno? So cool. Li Ziming, Winky Face, Chapter 63. After leaving the department store, Granny Setsuno led the way, and the trio followed behind. Komatsu was the most excited. He really didn't expect that he would be able to eat at Jina Canteen in his lifetime. After all, Grandma Jina basically only opened the shop once a month. Those who make reservations in advance are either wealthy people or famous food hunters. The last 10 places have been fully booked. But that's normal, as it is a famous national treasure of food, and the first person to remove the radiation from crude chocolate, and the person who discovered the reproduction and cooking methods of light mice. Of course, Granny Setsu was also the first person in the world to prevent puffer whales from being poisoned and to perform a perfect dissection. With so many titles, it is normal for everyone in the world to want to taste the food made by Grandma Ying Xig Nai. Even Toriko had to make an appointment a long time in advance before it was his turn. Komatsu, we have to thank Toriko, or we won't be able to eat it at all. Yes, Mr. Toriko, thank you so much. Then just let me eat at the gourmet hotel for free in the future. Oh, oysters, oysters, oysters. The 3 of them followed Grandma Jino, talking and laughing, and soon they arrived at Jino Canteen. But Komatsu unsurprisingly made a mistake, thinking that this high-end restaurant in front of him was the Setsuno Shokyudo. It was only after Li Ziming reminded him that he followed and saw the real Setsuno Shokyudo. A bungalow that couldn't be more ordinary. If it weren't for the 4 big words above, who would have thought that a restaurant that serves national treasures of gourmet food was hidden in this place? Grandma Jinai flipped over the sign, pushed open the door, and walked in with the 3 of them. As the light bulbs turned on, the 3 were stunned by what they saw. It was a scene that couldn't be more ordinary. Whether it was the tables, chairs, or kitchen utensils, it gave people the feeling of an ordinary cafeteria. But the recipes written on the wall required very high-end ingredients, some of which I had never heard of or some of which I could not get my hands on. Please take a seat, 3 guests, and welcome to the Setsuno Dining Hall. Today's special menu is the legendary soup, the soup of the century. Hearing this, the 3 excited people immediately sat down on the chairs. Their aura gave people a feeling that they would not leave even if the world was destroyed. After all, that was the soup of the century. It will take some time for the century soup to be cooked. I'll make you some rice bowls to cushion the pain. The 3 of them sat on chairs and watched Grandma Setsuno working. Her skillful techniques and skills in handling ingredients made Komatsu very excited, and he felt that he learned a lot. Soon, as the preparations were completed one by one, Grandma Jino brought bowls of garlic bird rice to the three of them, making them drool. I'm grateful for all the ingredients in the world, and I'm starting wow w. While the trio put their hands together, Jino was surprised to find that the ingredients in the store were glowing. Obviously, the three people in front of him had won the favor of the ingredients. After the ceremony, Li Ziming looked at the garlic bird rice bowl in front of him, picked up a piece of chicken dipped in a 10-yolk egg, and put it into his mouth. In an instant, the garlic flavor of the garlic bird and the sweetness of the 10-yolk egg are fully integrated, coupled with the rice noodles of the paradise rice and the faint aroma of sesame and chestnuts. The delicious storm of the fusion of four aromas instantly sweeps over the whole body. After taking a bite, the garlic bird is crispy on the outside and very tender on the inside. It is so delicious that you can't stop eating it. Komatsu just took a bite when Li Ziming and Toriko had already finished eating. Another bowl, Granny G. After the three of them finished eating the garlic bird rice bowl, it was time for tonight's special dish, the century-thick soup, to appear. Grandma Naomi Setsunorai announced that it was ready, and the three of them stood up and looked into the pot. This is my special menu, century soup. But what surprised Toriko and Komatsu was that when Granny Setsuno lifted the lid of the pot, they saw nothing. But Li Ziming knew very well that Granny Setsuno's pseudo-century thick soup had become transparent. Soon, a special fragrance floated out and into the noses of the three people. The three of them were directly intoxicated by it, and countless ingredients appeared in their minds. At the same time, the smell of the century-thick soup also spread out. Soon, countless people noticed the opening of the Jino canteen and immersed themselves in the smell of the century-thick soup. Grandma Jinai was not surprised to see this, so she scooped up some century-thick soup for the three of them and placed it in front of them. As the bowl shook, they also saw the century-old thick soup creating countless waves as it shook. I'm going to drink now. The aroma hit them in the face, and the three of them couldn't control themselves at all. They picked up the spoons and scooped up the century soup to taste it. The moment you take a bite, it's very refreshing, and at the same time a myriad of flavors come to your mind. The century-thick soup is as clear as water, but it contains rich flavors and there is not a trace of greasy taste. Li Ziming and Toriko were quickly immersed in the deliciousness, but it was different for Komatsu next to them. After tasting it, the names of several ingredients quickly emerged in his mind, and when he said them out, his grandmother Setsuno was instantly shocked. Komatsu then picked up the bowl, looked at the world soup and said, "It's delicious, but it feels like something is missing." "What's missing? Is it the seasoning?" Toriko asked puzzledly. After all, he only knew one thing about cooking. Li Ziming also said, "Something is missing. It is said that the real century soup will appear like an aurora." Hearing what the three said, Grandma Jinai also smiled, and it was obvious that she was very satisfied with them. "Come with me, I'll show you the kitchen." The three of them were very excited about this, as it was their first time seeing the kitchen of a world culinary treasure and they hoped it would not be the last. Grandma Jinai lifted up the floor, revealing a back kitchen leading to the basement. It was very narrow at first, but just enough for one person to pass through. After walking a few hundred steps, it suddenly became clear. They saw a huge space appear in front of them, with all kinds of strange ingredients and even ferocious beasts placed underneath. Komatsu was frightened as soon as they appeared. Spurred monkey, mammalian capture level 37. Lone bear, mammalian capture level 37. If you soak the spurred monkey and grapefruit in hot water at exactly 42 degrees, the bath water will turn into a very refreshing Japanese soup stock. I really don't know who discovered this. I can only say that the taste is very unique. The meat of a lone bear cannot be used with ordinary food. It takes a long battle for the meat on its body to become suitable for use after a few minutes, and it will be especially delicious, making it a super special dish. There are many ferocious beasts like this and similar ingredients in Grandma G's kitchen. Apparently, even when she is free, she will study how to cook various ingredients. She is indeed a national treasure of gourmet food. Soon, the trio swung over one by one as Setsunorai swung across the rope imitating Tarzan's movements. "Keep going, the road ahead will require a lamp to illuminate the darkness." The three of them followed behind Grandma Setsuno, and Komatsu took the opportunity to ask why Setsuno Shokyudo only opened once in a long time. The answer to this question will directly affect his life. It depends on my mood. Although it does depend on my mood, it's not my mood. It's the mood of the ingredients. Chapter 64. At this moment, Komatsu was stunned after getting the answer. How could ingredients have moods? Just when he was at a loss, the words of Grandma Setsuno gave him a heavy blow. Komatsu, you don't think the chef chooses the ingredients to cook? E=Omicron**, that means you are still an ordinary chef at the moment. Confused face, seeing Komatsu's puzzled look, Granny Setsuno then said, it's the opposite. The ingredients choose the customers and the chefs. I'll look at the mood of the ingredients every day and decide whether to open the store based on their mood. Hearing this, Komatsu suddenly felt enlightened. The mood of the ingredients and the sound of the ingredients, these two thoughts instantly echoed in his mind, and he seemed to understand something at this moment. I hear the echo of ingredients. That was a wish for me to cook. Soon, the three people walking along the tunnel arrived at a new space. What came into view was a super huge pot. It should be the pot for making the soup of the century. Just when the three were excited, Grandma Setsuno jumped lightly and arrived next to the 100-meter-high pot. Toriko and Komatsu were stunned. What a great old lady! The two looked at the stairs beside them and immediately climbed up quickly. Ziming naturally didn't need to do that. Under the gazes of Toriko and Komatsu, he directly activated the air dance technique and flew up slowly. I'm leaving first. Damn, you're cheating. Wait for us and take me with you. Ziming successfully reached the top and looked at the century-thick soup in the pot excitedly. It was basically made of ingredients from this century. As expected, only ingredients from this century can make the world-thick soup authentic. And Grandma Geno's pot was just a little bit short of the flavor to become the soup of the century. After Toriko and Komatsu came up, they had no time to pay attention to the unsportsmanlike Ziming. They were also stunned by the rich century soup, which tasted basically the same as the ones they sang. My soup is not actually the soup of the century, it's just an unfinished product. Hearing this, both of them were very shocked. Such a delicious soup was actually just a semi-finished product. How much more delicious would the real thing be? Ziming then told them the origin of the century soup. The formation of the century soup was actually a matter of chance. In the past, when there were no refrigerators, people would store rare ingredients in food showcases on the ice continent in order to preserve them. But as chance allowed, certain ingredients were gradually compressed to reveal their essence over time, and eventually diluted out of the food showcase, gathering together to form the soup of the century. As Ziming said, this is the origin of the century soup. Jiro helped me catch some before, and this pot of soup is based on that taste. Sigma, really? Looking at the two surprised people and marveling at Ziming's knowledge, Grandma Genai then told them the purpose of asking the three people to come. That is the opportunity to drink real-world soup. Now is the time when the century-old food window is melting. Whether they can drink it depends on them. You want to drink the real century soup? Go ahead if you want. The century soup is over there in the food display window. That man will definitely issue a commission. You can go and taste the last century soup. Hey oh. According to the information from Grandma Geno, the place where the man is going to post the message must be in the tavern where gourmet hunters gather, Bar Heavy Lodge, also known as the Meeting Tavern. Toriko brought them here. There were already more food hunters at the door. Looking at this familiar yet strange place, he realized that once upon a time, he was also one of them. Standing outside, you can still hear the noises coming from inside, people ordering drinks, people fighting, people competing, and people making noise. When the door was opened, the voices disappeared instantly. Everyone looked at the three people coming in. After seeing who they were, everyone became excited instantly. Toriko. It's Toriko. Toriko appears. Ha ha ha, it's rare for the four heavenly kings among the gourmet hunters to come over, come and have a glass of enamel beer. Hi, long time no see, boss. Watching Toriko reminiscing with the boss, Ziming sat aside, listening to the system's prompts beeping continuously. There were several successive achievements, and it was obvious that there were many people in the tavern. Achieve Silver Achievement, Kind-Hearted Mafia Achievement Reward, 100 points. Achieve Silver Achievement, Paranoid Gourmet Night. Achievement Reward, 100 points. Achieve Silver Achievement, an Intelligence Intermediary and Weapons Sales Boss with multiple roles. Achievement Reward, 100 points. Achieved Gold Achievement, the Talkative Regeneration Master. Achievement Reward, 1000 points. Only these few successfully triggered the achievement, and they are not just passers-by, but also very strong supporting characters. As for the others, they are all A, B, C, and D. But as for the last one, Li Ziming looked at the masked man not far away and recognized him at a glance as the regeneration master Taiping, the grandson of the acupuncture master Jiro. When they came to their senses, the boss also served them beer. Li Ziming drank it in one gulp. The beer was delicious, sweet, full of bubbles, refreshing and delicious. It was a good beer. After the boss took a look at Li Ziming, he said to Toriko, "Hey, Toriko, the people you brought are very strong. I can see, boss, he is much better than me. As for this, it's very weak, your cook." "I guess so. Then you guys came here for that too." As soon as he finished speaking, a group of men in black rushed into the tavern. Without saying a word, they laid out a red carpet. A dozen men in black stood in 2 rows and said to everyone, "Everyone stop eating, Mr. Kanier Rumokui, the head of Bishokyo Kaiko, Limited, has arrived." Under the surprised gaze of the crowd, the little old man appeared again, came in front of everyone with a golden pipe in his mouth, showing his luxurious side. When passers-by A, B, C, and D saw him, they immediately knew his identity, a top billionaire with an annual income of 20 trillion, and this was the first time he appeared on the food billionaire list. "I'll give 10 billion to the gourmet hunter who completes the commission. Those who want to challenge the world soup, come here." For this group of ordinary food hunters, they earn less than 100 million yuan a year. This 10 billion yuan is enough for them to retire directly. They were instantly excited. But they obviously didn't know that this trip would be their final destination. "Be careful on the road, Toriko." "Oh." After saying goodbye to the store manager, Li Ziming and the other 2 followed. Whether they could drink the real century soup depended on this time. At the same time, a news anchor who was sad because he couldn't squeeze into the Jino canteen, immediately dressed up as a food hunter after hearing the news, and came to the port, trying to capture major news headlines. This person is the host of Food TV, Tina. Chapter 65. Li Ziming and his trio, along with many food hunters, came to the seaside pier. What comes into view is a huge icebreaker, 400 meters long and weighing 200,000 tons. Even an iceberg would be no match for it. As expected of a gourmet tycoon, the boat he prepared is of high quality. After everyone sat down, the food tycoon told them where the century soup was. That is the extremely cold continent that freezes everything, an extremely cold hell with a temperature of -50 degrees Celsius all year round. Hearing this, all the food hunters present were stunned and their faces instantly turned bad. For gourmet hunters, the climate is often more terrifying than the wild beasts. In the extremely cold hell, if you are not careful, you will be frozen to death. But the next second, everyone's mood instantly began to rise from the bottom. It was not because of anything else, but because the gourmet tycoon in front of him actually gave everyone present a top-level winter suit worth 7 million. With this clothing, their survivability will be greatly improved, and the success rate of completing the commission will also be increased. Then, taking advantage of this opportunity, the gourmet rich also explained to everyone that the place where the world soup is located is in the middle of the extreme cold hell. In the food display window in that place, a large amount of methane hydrate will be produced every 100 years, and the food display window will begin to melt. The dissolved water is the world's soup. I'll give you one last chance. If you give up now, it's not too late. But among all the food hunters present, not a single one was willing to go down. Some went for food, some for money, and some for rebirth. Soon, as the food tycoon announced its departure, this huge icebreaker also headed towards the extremely cold continent. It would not be long before they arrived. As night fell, everyone returned to their rooms to rest. The next morning, Li Ziming and the other 2 went onto the deck to greet the new day. The 3 people wearing winter clothes did not feel the slightest bit of cold in the sea breeze, and a breath of ocean blew in their faces. It is indeed the most advanced cold-proof clothing. It uses several layers of material that rub against each other to maintain temperature. It is indeed a high-end product. But unfortunately, it seems there is none for horses. At this moment, the sound of horse hooves appeared on the deck, crisp and rhythmic. The 3 turned around and saw a white horse appeared in front of them with a man on it. "Nice to meet you, Mr. Toriko. I'm a member of the Gourmet Knights, my name is Takimaru." Toriko was slightly surprised to hear that the other party was from Gourmet Knight, and then said, "Gourmet Knight, Xiao Ai is okay. Well, the captain is very good. If he knew that I met Mr. Toriko, he would be very surprised. But at this time Komatsu was very confused. What did this gourmet night mean? Upon seeing this, Li Ziming briefly explained to him that they were a group of food hunters who followed the teachings of the gourmet church. Although there are few of them, they all have strong and noble spirits, and their strength is very good among food hunters. No, we are still far from that. Upon hearing Li Ziming's praise, Takimaru replied shyly. Hello, I'm Li Ziming, the acting teacher of Shilin Temple, and this is Komatsu, the chef of the gourmet hotel. Takimaru was shocked to hear the identities of the two. Not to mention Komatsu's identity as a chef, Shakuranji's status is very high in the whole world. He didn't expect that he would meet someone from Shakuranji. But at this moment, the icebreaker began to shake and the alarm on the ship sounded, indicating that there was an attack by a wild beast. At this moment, a blue crocodile climbed onto the boat. Shark crocodile, reptile capture level 6. Without Li Ziming's help, Toriko stepped forward and punched the shark crocodile in the stomach, and successfully pressed a point on it with one finger. This guy's sashimi is delicious, perfect for breakfast. As soon as Toriko finished speaking, shark crocodiles appeared one after another, and in a short while, they covered the entire deck. Should we say that they are lucky or unlucky? There are many gourmet hunters on this ship. Although most of them are not very good, there are still some very strong ones. For example, the gourmet knight Takimaru and the gourmet mafia Maki, with one hand of splitting tendons and breaking bones, can easily break the bones of a shark crocodile, and with his superb sword skills, he can draw his sword and cut it into 3 pieces as soon as it is unsheathed, and the shark crocodile is instantly split into 3. Of course, there is also our gourmet hunter's total card, a total card smash, smashing the axe at the shark crocodile, and then nothing happened. The shark crocodile just raised his head, and the axe flew to where it came from. Epsilon equals Omicron asterisk. Li Ziming was shocked when he saw so many sharks and crocodiles on the deck. A colorful black gorilla with red eyes appeared and all the sharks and crocodiles were scared to death instantly. Of course, it wasn't just the sharks and crocodiles. Everyone present seemed to be seeing a revolving lantern at that moment. It was not until Li Ziming cancelled it that they gradually came to their senses. Capture 20 sharks and crocodiles, and get 120 points. Komatsu, help me deal with these shark crocodiles. Oh. Komatsu then began dissecting and making sashimi on the deck, while Li Ziming and Toriko waited on the side. At this moment, all the gourmet hunters had only one thought in their minds: they must not treat him as an enemy, otherwise they would be the ones to die. After a while, Komatsu made the shark crocodile into sashimi, and Li Ziming and Toriko began to taste it. It is very chewy when you put it in your mouth, and has no fishy smell. Instead, it tastes unusually sweet. It may be due to the temperature. After all, this place is close to the ice continent. Chewing the shark crocodile meat repeatedly, you will find that it has the taste of top-notch shark fins and a texture similar to chicken, plus its light sweetness. It is a great breakfast. Looking at the people standing around, Li Ziming quickly called Takimaru over to taste it, otherwise it would be eaten up by Toriko in a short while. No need, Mr. Li Ziming, just eat. After hearing what Takimaru said, Li Ziming also thought of the teachings of the gourmet knight, who only ate simple meals on a daily basis and rarely ate ingredients of high capture levels. Li Ziming saw this and had no other options. After all, that was someone else's belief and doctrine. Soon, after Komatsu's dissection, all the sharks and crocodiles were turned into sashimi. Li Ziming and Toriko also quickly replenished their energy. Seeing this, Komatsu quickly joined in to taste them. After the 3 of them had eaten all of them, the air around them gradually became colder, and a huge ice island appeared in front of them. Minasan, we're here, the ice continent. Chapter 66. When it arrived at the ice continent, the icebreaker began to approach slowly, but at this moment, a super large piece of ice broke off from the ice continent and hit the icebreaker. Upon seeing this, many food hunters immediately became confused. A small number of people attacked with rocket launchers or machine guns, but to no avail. When the gourmet hunters saw this scene, their hearts sank. Just when they were trying to escape, Li Ziming stepped forward. No, Li Ziming directly activated the air dance technique, flew to the front of the ice block, and placed it into the system space. When the others saw this, they were completely stunned. How could such a big block of ice just disappear like that? Moreover, why could Li Ziming actually fly? Li Ziming looked at the large block of ice in the system backpack, thinking that he would never lack cold drinks in the future. He did not realize how much of a shock this would give to other people. After he came down, everyone looked at him with a hint of admiration in their eyes. Soon, the food tycoon prepared a helicopter for them, which could take everyone to Bingbo. However, due to the strong winds formed by the unique terrain of the ice continent, they could only climb up from Bingbo slowly. Seeing this, Li Ziming asked Toriko to take Komatsu on the first helicopter, while he himself flew up. But at this moment, the Big Eater did the opposite and walked to the back. Seeing this, Li Ziming immediately realized that he was no longer the same person as before. Achieve Silver Achievement, a man with bones all over his body. Achievement Reward, 100 points. As expected, I don't know since when, the gourmet foodie has been parasitized by this spicy man. But this has nothing to do with Li Ziming. After all, he can't be saved. Let's go up and take a look first. The air dance technique is activated. Li Ziming began to ascend, and soon he successfully arrived at the ice continent. Achieve Silver Achievement, the Extreme Cold Hell Food Showcase. Achievement Reward, 100 points. As soon as he came up, a biting strong wind blew in his face. Fortunately, Li Ziming had cold-proof clothing and his own cold resistance, so he was able to cope with it easily. After landing, he looked at the ice dragon in front of him and couldn't help feeling sad. The gatekeeper of the ice continent was killed so easily. The person who killed it has now taken over its nest and lived inside its body. Achieve Gold Achievement, a person who feeds insects with his own body. Achievement Reward, 1000 points. Achieve Silver Achievement, High Quality Muscle Oil Man. Achievement Reward, 100 points. Now, the main members of Bishokyokai are gathered, and they all appear except for the Micro GT robot. Li Ziming was thinking whether he should kill them directly or leave them to Toriko as tools for training. After all, although Toriko's hand was broken after this incident, he still gained a lot. After thinking for a while, he decisively gave up. After all, these were all Toriko's experience packs. However, Tommy Rod had a lot of bugs, and the capture level was very high, so he could kill some secretly. At this moment, he was sitting on the edge of the cliff and took out a glass of rainbow juice. The next second, he was instantly frozen into a popsicle. What Li Ziming wanted was popsicles. Don't say it, don't say it, don't say it again. In this snowy and icy weather, eating rainbow popsicles has a special flavor. Not long after, the helicopter arrived on the ice shelf, and the first group of food hunters appeared and began to climb. The familiar person appeared again, and in no time, Toriko brought Komatsu up. Finally here, Li Ziming, you kid, why don't you bring me and Komatsu up here? This is all experience, Toriko. Li Ziming said righteously. Toriko and Komatsu were also shocked when they saw the giant ice dragon in front of them. The gatekeeper of the ice continent was killed and turned into an ice sculpture. Of course, there is not just one ice sculpture. There are countless food hunters from ancient times to the present who have come here and were frozen into ice sculptures by this extremely cold hell. Seeing this scene, Komatsu was so scared that he rolled his eyes. It really refreshed his cognition. The first group of food hunters also came up almost too late. Takimaru, Maki and the younger brothers were all there. Takimaru suggested that everyone go together so that they won't be separated and get into trouble. Li Ziming and Toriko agreed very much. That's it, let's go. Destination, Soup of the Century. Li Ziming and Toriko chose to walk straight in front, while the others followed slowly. As for the other food hunters, some were waiting for people, some followed, and some were preparing to find another way, including the trio and Tina. After walking for a distance, Li Ziming and Toriko suddenly heard a sound, and in an instant, countless ice cones attacked them. They were all very powerful, and with Li Ziming's triggers scattered around, nothing was wrong, but the gourmet hunters who followed behind were in big trouble. Some were pierced through the body, while others were pierced through their winter clothing, causing the temperature to drop instantly and then turning into ice sculptures. Walking through the area of ice cones blown out by the strong wind, the pressure was greatly reduced, but the temperature was also getting lower and lower. Li Ziming looked at the white air he was exhaling, and then looked around him. Toriko and others did the same. It would be better to adapt now and let Toriko and others learn from them. Maybe they can enhance their combat effectiveness and allow their gourmet cells to adapt to the cold. Inhale normally, but when exhaling, in order to store temperature, moisture, and oxygen in the body, use the external environment to freeze the carbon dioxide with the highest melting point and boiling point, exhale it in an instant, and then inhale the oxygen in the exhaled breath. What you exhale in this way is not white air, but some tiny crystals, which preserve the oxygen, water, and body temperature in the breath to a great extent. This is the original breathing method, which can cope with bad weather to a great extent. Li Ziming, feeling that he was becoming more and more proficient, also passed this method back to Toriko. After all, this was his understanding, so we could be considered to have told him in advance. Unexpectedly, after hearing this, Toriko succeeded after trying a few times. He must be the chosen one. But it was difficult for Komatsu, after all, he was just a chef. They had only been walking for a few hours. Li Ziming and Toriko in the front were fine, but Takimaru, Maki, Komatsu and others in the back looked exhausted, not to mention the other gourmet hunters. Toriko, take a break. Toriko looked at the brothers behind him and planned to let them take a short break here to restore their physical strength. Knife. Furious slash. Snow-winged eagle. Toriko cut a few times and cut out a super square piece of ice, then forked it out with a fork. Toriko built a simple shelter, safe and quick. At the same time, the second group of food hunters also came up, including Typing. He just came up and chose to go straight. With the arrival of the parasite buzzwoots, Barry Gaiman, who was lying on the ground frozen into an ice sculpture, also woke up. Also waking up was Tomirod, the deputy chef of Bishokyukai, who lived in the body of the ice dragon. Okay, it's time to eat. Where's the century soup? Chapter 67. After the rest, Li Ziming and Toriko led everyone to the food display window again. The further they went inside, the faster the wind and snow became. Soon, everyone's clothes began to freeze and their body temperature was gradually taken away. Even wearing the most advanced winter clothing was of no use. The originally large team had a sharp drop in numbers after experiencing the baptism of wind and snow, leaving only a few of them. But at this moment, Toriko suddenly smelled a familiar fragrance, and the others also smelled it not far ahead, and everyone immediately walked towards that direction. When they arrived, they discovered that the fragrance actually came from Odin, and it was a natural Odin hot spring. Everyone looked at the Odin hot spring and thought they had come at the right time. Not only could they eat it, but they could also soak in the hot spring. Komatsu could also recover a little. Toriko repeated the same trick and started cutting ice again, but this time he was making an igloo. Everyone was ready to take a final break before they could sprint directly to the iceberg. While others were working, Li Ziming took out a bowl and tasted the natural Odin with Komatsu. It was particularly delicious, with a rich kelp flavor. Take a bite of the radish, it is crisp and soft, and a sweet, crisp, and spicy taste fills your whole body. You will feel warm after eating it. After Komatsu finished eating, his strength began to recover and his spirits suddenly became better. But as he was eating, Li Ziming felt like something was missing, a little bit of meat. The temperature of the Odin hot spring was very high, and the taste was also very good, so he felt like he could have an Odin hot pot. Just as he was about to take out the previous ingredients from the system space, the ground began to shake, and it was obvious that a ferocious beast was coming. When I stood up and looked, I saw a group of blue figures approaching. When I walked up to them, I found that they were the indigenous people of this ice continent, the frozen wild cattle. Frozen bison, mammalian capture level 11. Just when he was thinking of getting some ingredients for hot pot, the ingredients arrived on their own. Li Ziming felt that this was good luck with food. The beef can be used for hot pot and the fur can be used as cold-proof clothing, killing two birds with one stone. I flew into the air and took a look. There were about 70 or 80 frozen bison in this group. It should be okay if a dozen were missing. It would not affect the ecology and it would help them restore their physical strength. I could put a few more in the backpack and go home for hot pot. Li Ziming came directly above them, triggered the acupoints directly, and then sent them to death. He then revealed a hint of deterrence and successfully scared away the other bison. Defeat 10 frozen bison and gain 110 points. Nice, Li Ziming. Brothers, let's eat Odin beef hot pot. Oh ah! Soon, the large igloo was built. Thanks to the efforts of Li Ziming and Komatsu, 3 frozen bison were successfully butchered. The shiny meat looked delicious. As for the rest, he put them into his backpack. Since he was here, he had to bring some specialties back. Li Ziming took out the hot pot, took out the gas stove, and started to make Odin hot pot. All he needed was some natural Odin water, boil it, and then put in the beef. Of course, in addition to Odin hot pot, Komatsu has also started barbecue, and barbecue with hot pot is becoming more and more popular. I have to say, wrapped in the fur of frozen bison and drinking Odin soup, a feeling of warmth spread throughout the body. Soon, everyone sat together and began to taste the food. After a long journey, only a few of them were left, and the other unknown food hunters also disappeared. Pick up the frozen bison meat and toss it in the Odin soup. The beef will soon be cooked and melt in your mouth. After blanching, the beef doesn't have any fishy smell at all. It may be because it lives on the ice continent. It is very light, but with the freshness of Odin soup. It's delicious. After eating the shabu-shabu beef, you can have a bite of barbecue meat. The rich brown taste is very tempting. Add the secret barbecue ingredients and it will not only be more enjoyable to eat, but the rich meaty aroma will also make you feel very satisfied. A bite of meat, a sip of soup, it is such a pleasure to eat such delicious food in this snowy and icy place. Li Ziming inexplicably feels like he is trying to survive on the ice. Soon, the 3 frozen bison were in their stomachs. Maki and his brothers ate less, not to mention Takimaru. Most of the food went into the stomachs of Li Ziming and Toriko. After eating and drinking, it was time to hit the road. With the frozen bison skins, everyone moved forward much faster and entered the iceberg in no time. When they arrived at the iceberg, the wind and snow stopped all of a sudden. Without the hurricane, everyone's body temperature quickly returned to normal with the help of their cold-proof clothing. Li Ziming and Toriko became excited when they thought that the century soup was right in front of them. Their saliva instantly turned into icicles. They felt like they could cosplay as Ice Fang Dragon. Hurry up, brothers, the soup of the century is just around the corner. Oh ah! I have to say, without the trouble of wind and snow, the icebergs here are like works of art, sparkling and particularly beautiful. Komatsu couldn't help himself when he saw it, he went forward and touched it, but the more beautiful something is, the more dangerous it is. Komatsu, get out of there! A white Shamit bear suddenly appeared in front of Komatsu, scaring him so much that he ran away immediately. Silver Grizzly Bear, Mammalian Capture Level 20. Upon seeing this, Li Ziming immediately rushed to him and knocked him to the ground with one punch. These were all points, no, delicious food. Capture the Silver Grizzly Bear and earn 20 points. Arigato, Mr. Li Ziming. It's a piece of cake. Komatsu, start cooking. Toriko came over and took a look. This silver grizzly bear meat can be eaten raw, it's really delicious. As she said that, Toriko immediately cut a piece of meat with a knife, dipped it in salt and put it in her mouth with a satisfied smile on her face. Seeing this, Li Ziming also followed his example and ate a piece. Although it was very chewy and the bear meat was very good, he still felt that it was a little off. In conclusion, it was not as delicious as cooked one. While Komatsu started cooking, Li Ziming looked around to see if there were any ingredients. After walking around, he actually found some. Ice crystal ginger, plant capture level 1 or below. Hot mushroom, mushroom capture level 1 or below. We took the ingredients back to the camp and gave them to Komatsu to cook. After a short while, a pot of steaming braised grizzly bear meat came out of the pot. Seeing this, everyone also lined up like students, holding plates and waiting for Komatsu to be distributed, hoping that there would be no funnels. A bite of braised grizzly bear meat tastes light like fish, but it is very juicy and chewy. The spicy taste of ice crystal ginger and hot mushrooms warms the body instantly. It really tastes better after cooking. Ogawali. In no time, they finished the pot of braised grizzly bear meat. Seeing this, Komatsu had no choice but to start cooking again. But who would have thought that during the cooking process, Komatsu felt someone touching him. Mr. Toriko, Mr. Li Ziming, wait a moment, it's not ready yet. We didn't touch you. Who is that? Chapter 68. Komatsu turned around and saw a pink penguin appear behind him, which instantly scared him. Toriko saw this and instantly noticed his difference. A baby penguin is so rare. This guy is an endangered species. Hey, wall penguin! Yo 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 yo! Komatsu looked at the pink penguin and felt a strange feeling. He immediately went forward and hugged it. It was so cute. Achieved silver achievement, Komatsu's partner, wall penguin. Achievement reward, 100 points. Everyone smiled as they watched the pink penguin interacting with Komatsu. It turns out that cute things are the most popular. Wall penguin chicks are not very wary and will treat any creature in a friendly way, which is why they are on the verge of extinction. After all, if they are not careful, the chicks will be eaten by some creature. Komatsu, be careful, adult wall penguins are very violent. Perhaps its parents are looking for it. After seeing this, they will definitely think you are an animal dealer. Oh, oh. Seeing the frightened Komatsu, everyone started laughing. The scene became particularly harmonious at this moment. They continued to eat the food and feed the penguins. While eating, everyone started talking about the purpose of this trip to capture century soup. Maki's younger brothers spoke first, saying it was for the children and the homeless people. In areas that are not members of the Igo, there is war and violence everywhere, and food is extremely scarce, or rather, everything edible has been eaten. Only anesthetic and poisonous ingredients were left. Countless left-behind children and orphans had no food to eat. Only a small number of kind-hearted mafia members were willing to distribute food to them. Maki and his younger brothers grew up step by step from being orphans, but their strength and money were not enough to feed all the children in their hometown, so they came to this place to complete commissions and make money. Compared to the purpose of the food mafia, Takemura's purpose is very simple, to save people, and this person is Toriko's good friend, Takemura's captain, Amaru. Iwan is a sick eater who can transfer other people's diseases to himself, but the price is heavy. He was also bedridden and unable to move because of the backlash of the disease. The disease could be cured, but due to the teachings of the Gourmet Knight, Iwan didn't want to be treated, so he was about to die. The purpose of Takemura's trip is to capture the century soup, get the 10 billion, go to the healing country, find and buy medicine that can cure any disease, and then save Captain Amaru. What about you, Mr. Toriko, Mr. Li Ziming? When Li Ziming and Toriko heard this, they didn't even need to think about it. Of course they came here to drink the soup. After drinking it, they would see if they could ask Komatsu to replicate it. It would be best if they could drink unlimitedly. Hearing this, everyone laughed, and their relationship gradually became harmonious. But at this moment, an explosion sounded through the sky, and everyone became nervous in an instant. When Li Ziming heard this, he knew it was Tomirod's fault. He was probably playing the dynamite game again. The enemy has appeared, probably from Bishokyokai. Get ready and find the century soup before they do. Oh ah! After a quick tidy up, everyone started looking for the whereabouts of the food display window, and by the way, to see if there was any aurora. After all, where there was aurora, there would be century soup. Of course, there was also a baby penguin traveling with them. Looking at it, Li Ziming wondered whether he should save its parents. But if he did so, the century soup would not be made and Komatsu would be without a partner. At this moment, Toriko suddenly smelled a fragrance in the air, which was very similar to the semi-finished century soup made by Grandma Setsuno. Based on the nearby scene, the main task is now released, capturing the century soup. Task reward, 5,000 points. At the same time, Li Ziming also noticed that a swarm of Tomirod's insects had attacked from a distance. Joga Stag Beetle, Insect Beast Capture Level 38. 11 These bugs were extremely fast, and they rushed to the crowd in the next second. When Li Ziming saw them, he laughed instantly, for these were the bugs he had been waiting for. When these bugs were about to attack everyone, Li Ziming immediately took action, killing each bug with one punch, just like playing whack-a-mole, except that they were smashed to pieces. Kill the Joga Stag Beetle and gain 418 points. Just after Li Ziming killed these insects, the sound of insects flapping wings was heard in the air. Now the real culprit had arrived. Bishokyokai's deputy head chef Tomirod and 2 branch managers successfully landed and came in front of everyone. Oh, nice to meet you. You must be Toriko. In an instant, Tomirod was next to Toriko, gave him a big hug and said, goodbye. Tomirod's hand gave Toriko a chill. Your hand penetrated my huge 8-pack ABS. But when he wanted to take his hand back, it was not so easy. Toriko directly controlled his muscles to clamp Tomirod's hand. When it comes to close range, that's Toriko's world. She directly charges her arm with 10 nail punches and hits him, but stops the next second. It was not because of anything else, the hybrid insect in Tomirod's body showed its head and bit Toriko's arm. Seeing this, Li Ziming came in front of them in an instant and slapped the hybrid insect. Have I given you the face? Do you dare to come out and fight me? Before Tomirod and the hybrid worm could react, the parents of the wall penguin chick came over, and after seeing their child, they prepared to teach the animal dealer, Komatsu, a lesson. They took off directly and crushed the crowd like a mountain, scaring everyone into running away. But at this moment, the ground suddenly collapsed, and both the people and the beasts fell down. Seeing this situation, Li Ziming went over and grabbed Komatsu and Xiaowu. As for the others, they were all food hunters and would not die from the fall. After slowly landing, the food display window appeared in front of them. Komatsu looked at the ingredients inside in surprise, his heart filled with excitement. After all, these were ingredients from centuries ago. Li Ziming noticed the ingredients inside, which were already wilting at the moment. He estimated that this would be the last century soup, and there would probably be no more food showcases in the future. At this moment, Toriko and the others also stood up. Although it was painful, the damage was not serious. They looked at the food window and were immersed in its beauty. On the other side, a family of 3 penguins were reunited, and the Tommy Rod trio were not far from them, looking at the food window. Apparently they had also discovered the location of the century soup. It looks like the soup is down there. Yes, but I can't give you the century soup. Li Ziming said to them. Soldiers against soldiers, cannons against cannons, the opposite team is a group of 3, and this side is also a group of 3, which is a good opportunity for Toriko and the others to train. Toriko, you deal with the bug guy in the middle. Marnie, you deal with that exhibitionist on the left. Takimaru, deal with the man in the suit on the right. The 3 of them looked at the target in front of them and had the answer in their hearts. If they didn't defeat them, it would be impossible to get the century soup. What about you, Li Ziming? Me, Komatsu and I are going to look for century soup. Chapter 69. Under the gazes of everyone present, Li Ziming and Komatsu walked towards the underground tunnel not far away. Toriko and the others immediately became nervous. After all, the boss was gone, and they instantly felt a sense of crisis. Let's fight! At this moment, Li Ziming and Komatsu were walking slowly down, not worrying at all about Toriko and the others getting into an accident. Just because, Li Ziming opened the system store and spent 1000 points to buy a skill from the Naruto world. Yes, it was Shadow Clone. Points, 1000. I have learned the Shadow Clone technique, improved version. Consume physical strength and energy, distribute to the clone, and have consciousness and strength independent of the caster's body. After the spell is lifted, the clone's memory and experience can be accepted. That's right, the clone has already come to the dark at this moment. If anyone's life is in danger, he will help. After all, he can't just stand by and watch someone die. And it's still okay to kill some bugs and save penguins. Li Ziming and Komatsu soon arrived under the food display window, only to see a familiar man, Teppei. At the same time, a fight broke out above, with ice fragments falling from time to time, and pursuers caught up. Gamula Mosquito, Insect Beast, Capture Level 30. Achievements achieved, the person who controls the Micro GT robot. Achievement reward, 10 points. Looking not far away, there are 2 Gamula mosquitoes, and on one of them is a GT robot. Isn't this a GT robot figurine? Trigger it and reach directly into the body of the micro robot, crush the core, then slap the 2 mosquitoes to death with your hands, and everything will be okay. Kill 2 Gamula mosquitoes and gain 60 points. Capture the micro GT robot and get 5 points. Li Ziming was very surprised to see that the micro GT robot only scored 5 points, but he understood it after thinking about it. Although the body of this micro GT robot is the same as that of a regular GT robot, its power has become pitifully small. When attacking Komatsu, a slap only knocked him unconscious but did not kill him. It can be imagined that the capture level of the micro GT robot may be only level 5. At the same time, on the Bishokyokai side, the branch chief Yu also took off his helmet and came to Jiao Niang's side. We've been discovered. Lord Aliaferro will be here soon, Madam Jiao. Yes, Lord Yu, Lord Aliaferro will be arriving soon. Back to the ice continent, Taiping was very surprised when he saw Li Ziming's operation, but he didn't have to do anything. He came up to the 2 of them, made a hushing gesture with his finger, and then said, "Be quiet, it's best not to talk, otherwise you might not be able to go back." Epsilon equals Omicron asterisk, oh, why? Facing Komatsu's question, Li Ziming was also very clear. After all, the winter clothes they were wearing were bugged by the food tycoon. If he said that the century soup was gone, they would probably just turn around and leave. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, this chatterbox typing will definitely say it out loud. That will be a famous scene. Just when they met typing, something happened upstairs. Tommy Rod looked around, looking for his child, the penguin jumping happily, and suddenly, feeling it was particularly noisy, he released a long centipede. Butterfly centipede, insect beast, capture level 40. Just when it was about to hit the wall penguins, Li Ziming's clone took action and destroyed it directly with a Qigong bomb. Kill the butterfly centipede and get 40 points. You didn't really think I was gone, Tommy Rod. Looking at the nervous Tommy Rod, Li Ziming also smiled and said, don't worry, your opponent is not me, but Toriko. After saying that, Li Ziming called for the somersault cloud, threw the 3 penguins up, and then flew to the ice continent. Holding the pink little baby, he sat comfortably on the somersault cloud and watched the live broadcast. At this moment, Tommy Rod's face was completely black. He directly summoned a swarm of insects and attacked Toriko frantically. For a moment, the aftermath of the battle reached directly under the food display window. Looking at the 3 people dropping ice crazily above, Komatsu also started to take action and ran towards the bottom of the food window. He came here with great expectations, but he didn't see any trace of the century soup, and there was also the appearance of the aurora, which made him stunned for a moment. Mr. Li Ziming, thick soup. Before Komatsu could finish his words, Tepi covered his mouth and made him look at what he had written in the notebook about the winter clothing being bugged. After learning the truth, he collapsed to the ground instantly, while typing was still feeling grateful for his cleverness. At the cave entrance not far away, Zone Kai's threesome and Tina appeared. Hey, what's going on? There's not a single strand of it here. At the moment he spoke, Tai Ping took a quick step and pressed a point on Zone Kai, leaving him speechless and unable to move. Really? The fact that there was no century soup was almost exposed. It was almost exposed. Exposed. Sigma, degree. I am the crow dividing line. Pfft. Ha 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 ha. It's finally exposed. At this moment, Li Ziming, who saw the whole scene, couldn't hold back any longer. It turned out to be typing again. He could finally see the famous scene in the anime in person. On the other side, when the food tycoon heard this, he ordered the icebreaker to be driven away, and then turned off the control of the robot. The next destination was other rare ingredients. After noticing that the eavesdropping device on his winter clothing was gone, Li Ziming also realized the situation on the icebreaker. Ha 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 ha, you're so funny. Tina, did you record it? I want a copy. It's recorded. That's fine. Give me one later and I'll treat you to a delicious meal. Typing looked at the people around him and secretly wrote down his apology for everyone to see. Although other people could accept it, there was one person who couldn't accept it, and that was Zone Kai. He was still determined. After realizing there was no bug, he apologized and briefly introduced himself. Sorry, I didn't say that. My name is Tepi and I'm a food regenerator. I know. He's Master Jiro's grandson, the chatterbox Tepi. Epsilon equals Omicron asterisk, you know me. You can tell by looking at my hair and the acupuncture points. I am the acting teacher of Shilin Temple, Li Ziming. I've heard so much about you. After the two of them greeted each other, Komatsu came over and asked sadly, is the century soup really gone? When typing heard this, he sat aside dejectedly, most of the ingredients in the food showcase have lost their essence. Even for me, it would be difficult to regenerate them. I was commissioned by someone to come here to investigate. As I expected, the century soup is gone. When Komatsu heard this, the slight hope that had risen in his heart was shattered, and he sat on the ground in despair. Seeing their sad looks, Li Ziming knew very well that there was still a little bit of century soup, but it just flowed to other places. As the fighting above became more intense, the aurora also spread over here. Oi, who said the century soup is gone? The aurora has appeared. Chapter 70. When everyone saw the aurora appear, they were very excited, and there was actually some century soup left. But at this moment, the food display window above suddenly shook violently, and it was obvious that the battle above was very fierce. Upon seeing this, typing took out the seeds of the protective tree, dripped some growth-accelerating potion on them, and threw them into the food display window. You guys go find century soup. I have to protect the food display window and keep this place from collapsing. Leave it to you, Tepi. Li Ziming took Komatsu and Tina and headed towards century soup, which was not far away. It didn't take long for them to arrive at the scene and find the last soup of the century in a small pit. Looking at the aurora floating in the sky, the three of them were very excited, and there was a charming fragrance in the air. "We found the soup of the century, Mr. Li Ziming." Li Ziming came to the small pit and looked at the only remaining century soup. He was very excited and directly controlled the trigger to cut off all the ice several meters around the century soup. After all, it is ice contaminated by the soup of the century, so it should taste good. Maybe it is ice condensed from the soup of the world. Under the gaze of the other two, Li Ziming put it into the system backpack, and the main task was completed. Complete the main mission and capture the century soup. Get points, 5,000. Sada, go back, let's drink soup together. Amazed face, / Just when Li Ziming completed the main mission and obtained a large number of points, the battle between Toriko and Tommyrod above was also in full swing. Countless bugs were released by Tommyrod and flew towards Toriko. Although he used a flying fork to kill some of them, countless bugs still appeared. There's nothing we can do. Tommyrod is just a bug man who uses group attack tactics. He is also the only one among the deputy chefs who is relatively weak. Starjun and Gillenbach are both powerful people, but Tommyrod is a cunning person. The bugs in his body include some with strong strength and some with weak strength. The weak ones are the ones that can make your heart beat faster. After all, no one wants a small insect to crawl into their anus while they are sleeping, then reproduce and grow rapidly inside their body, and then explode. Li Ziming felt very distressed when he saw the bugs killed by Toriko. These were all points. However, it was not the time for him to take action yet, otherwise he would definitely catch all the bugs in one fell swoop. This opportunity came soon. When Buletin saw the two branch chiefs being defeated, his face instantly turned dark. He released countless insects again, preparing to take the opportunity to drill into their bodies and lay eggs, but at this moment, Toriko took action. An astonishing amount of heat emanated from his body, which not only changed the temperature of the surrounding area, but also blew away all the insects. But the next second, Tommyrod released another 1,000 insects, which surrounded Toriko in the blink of an eye. Tommyrod thought he had defeated Toriko, so he looked at Li Ziming on the somersault cloud. "Oh my, it's your turn now, acting teacher Li Ziming. Are you sure Toriko is okay?" Tommyrod looked at Toriko again, only to see that the insects on him had greatly reduced their desire to attack. Not only that, all the bugs also flew away from his body. At this moment, Tommyrod also smelled the scent on Toriko, which was the thing that insects resisted the most, phytoncide. This kind of thing is usually a special smell emitted by plants in order to resist the biting of insects. It has the effect of killing bacteria and insects. When Toriko was in danger of these 1,000 insects, the defense instinct of her gourmet cells was triggered, so she actively condensed the plant essential oil. Now Tommyrod was even angrier. As a bug man, he naturally hated phytoncide. Since the bugs were useless, it was his turn to take the initiative. Soon, he rushed to Toriko and started fighting with her. The fight was very fierce. But while they were fighting, Li Ziming also started to take action. During the fight between the two, the insects were flying in the air, completely unaware of the danger. Looking at the more than 1,000 insects not far away, Li Ziming's clone came directly in front of them and successfully took them all down with a Qigong wave. Kill 1024 jam glass grasshoppers, capture level 40, glass bees, capture level 35, gamula mosquitoes, capture level 30, etc., and get 37,530 points. Seeing that he had obtained so many points, Li Ziming couldn't help but laugh. This was all thanks to Tommyrod, the boy who brought him wealth. By the way, Tommyrod's eyes turned into those of money. It seems that I can harvest more in the future. At this moment, Domi and Toriko were fighting fiercely. After a confrontation, they paused. Toriko was fine, but Tommyrod lost one of his wings. Li Ziming was very pleased when he saw this scene. It was worth it that he taught Toriko the simple meaning of food. While concentrating on the attack, Toriko's fingers were not broken like in the original book. He just didn't know if he could save his arm. After Tommyrod discovered this, he instantly became excited. It had been a long time since he had had such an exciting battle. There was no other consciousness mixed in, it was purely a wild instinct to fight. "Toriko, you're great. You let me use my full strength." "Nanny." Tommyrod began to remove the rings on his body, and his muscles instantly swelled up. A muscular man appeared in front of everyone. This was his true appearance. Toriko, I respect you as a food hunter. I will do my best to hunt you down. Toriko was dumbfounded at this moment. It turned out that you didn't use your full strength when fighting with me before. Before he could react, Tommy Rod came in front of him and punched him randomly, making Toriko unable to fight back. Although he is a bug man, he is also the deputy chef of Bishokyokai. Although his strength is not as good as the other two, his capture level is about 60, 70, 80 or 90. Toriko's current strength is estimated to be around 40 or 50, and this is the result after BB popcorn and gem meat. And Toriko, after being hit repeatedly, also developed a sense of crisis. If he didn't use his full strength, he might die. For this reason, he could only use his hands to resist as much as possible, but he was bitten by Tommy Rod's sharp teeth. The next second, he could not feel the existence of his left arm. Seeing the arm in the air, Tommy Rod's eyes showed joy, and he fired a powerful insect fire bomb at the arm, destroying Toriko's arm. Toriko also seized this brief opportunity and used a powerful leg blade towards it. The next second, Tommy Rod was dumbfounded. This time, he could not feel the existence of his arm. He immediately attacked Toriko in anger. But Toriko's left leg stretched out and pierced through Tommy Rod's body, and 4 holes instantly appeared on his body. But Toriko wasn't much better off. After all, this was a 1-for-1 trade, and both sides suffered losses. Just as the two of them were about to continue, Ziming took action, came in front of the two and threw them away. Okay, give me some face and stop here. Chapter 71. At this moment, the two people lying on the ground looked at Ziming in front of them, and then looked at Ziming on the somersault cloud. The two were confused for a moment. Why were there 2 Zimings? Then the clone disappeared with a bang, and Ziming knew everything. Looking at the wall penguin family on the somersault cloud, as well as Takimaru Maki and his younger brothers, it is obvious that they are also very tired and seriously injured, just like in the original work. Seeing Tommy Rod with a gloomy face, he wanted to rush over to fight again, but Ziming didn't need to make a move. Typing came over. A set of half-cooked and fully cooked A-cup ointment pressing directly fixed Tommy Rod in place. He is worthy of being the grandson of Uncle Jiro, who can press the acupoints of Tommy Rod, who is full of insect ganglia. But at this moment, Tommy Rod opened his mouth in anger, screamed, and released the demon in his body. The next second, Tommy Rod consumed all his energy and hatched hybrid insects. He became emaciated and fell to the ground. I saw a ball of black mist falling to the ground, and a huge insect with various insect organs appeared, like a scorpion and a spider. This beast was the parasitic king insect. Parasite king, hybrid beast capture level 81. What the hell? Everyone shuddered as they looked at this ferocious beast that was a hybrid of dozens of ferocious parasitic insects, except, of course, Ziming. Soon, the parasitic king insect launched an attack on Typing, spitting fire, cold air, and even silk. When the 2 branch chiefs lying on the ground saw this, they stopped pretending to be dead and ran out of the cave in fear. When Typing saw this, he reminded them, it's better not to go out now. It's safer here than outside. Who cares about you? Escaping is the most important thing. As soon as the 2 ran out of the cave, they were dumbfounded when they saw the scene in front of them. What the hell was this thing? A ferocious beast with heads all over its body attacked them, and was eaten in the next second. This beast was Helbolus, the ruler of the ice continent regenerated by Typing. Helbolus, reptile capture level 72. The newly reborn Helbolus was very hungry. After eating the little Karami in front of him, he rushed to everyone. Just as everyone was looking at the ruler of the ice continent, the parasitic king worm next to him also completed its molting and evolved into a new form. The moment the 2 beasts met, they started fighting as if they had met their enemy, then flew into the sky and fought above the ice continent. Seeing the 2 beasts leave, the other people present breathed a sigh of relief. Ziming looked at the injured people and asked Typing to bandage them. Typing took out the seeds of Dr. Aloe Vera and threw them into the ice. Soon, aloe vera that looked like a bandage grew out. After wrapping up the injured Gourmet Mafia, Tepi looked at Toriko and could only give him a simple bandage on the wound on his left arm. It's a serious injury, Toriko, but don't worry, my master should be able to regenerate your arm. Really? Okay. At this moment, Ziming was standing in front of the food display window, looking at these shrunken ingredients, feeling very sad. Although the ingredients of this century can be used to make century soup, it is generally different from the natural ones. After typing bandaged everyone's wounds, he came to Li Ziming and looked at the food display window surrounded by protective trees. It has withered. There is no possibility of regeneration. What a shame. Then let the food showcase shine its final light. Hearing this, typing instantly understood what Li Ziming meant. Soon, everyone arrived under the food display window, only to see the Sobi trio still there, while Komatsu and Tina were chatting. They were very happy to see several people coming. Zonkai, hey 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 hey. Master Zonkai, tell me when you will release me. Sorry, I forgot about you guys. I used too much force to untie it. It untied itself after a while. Coming back to his senses, typing took out the dormant essence and dripped it on the branches of the protective tree. The next second, the protective tree dried up instantly. Under the expectant gazes of the crowd, typing began to pull the withered branches of the protective tree, and the stones of the food display window began to shrink, then compressed together, emitting the last aurora. This is the final soup of the century. Goodbye, gourmet window. The food display window shattered, and century soup appeared in the air, covered in aurora, and fell towards everyone. Li Ziming did not snatch it away when he saw this, because he knew that this last century soup had already chosen its customer, Komatsu. As expected, the soup of the century fell into Komatsu's hands. The moment the smell wafted away, Toriko and Maki went crazy and rushed towards Komatsu, wanting to have a sip of the century soup. Li Ziming immediately came in front of them and stopped them. Okay, century soup chose Komatsu because he reproduced its cooking skills. It would be a waste for you to drink it. Hearing this, Toriko and the others suppressed their appetite and looked at Komatsu. Yet, Komatsu, that's not enough, you have to drink until you feel good. So, Komatsu, drink it, memorize the taste, and then replicate it. Mr. Toriko. At this moment, Komatsu's heart was full of gratitude. He didn't expect that Toriko believed in him so much, so he couldn't let him down. I will definitely reproduce it. The century soup of the old century has ended. The century soup of the new century will be created by me. Komatsu finished his words, and then drank the drop of the century soup that he had chosen. After drinking it, Komatsu's body began to tremble, and then the corners of his mouth rose into an exaggerated arc. Hey hey hey. Komatsu, what's wrong with you? What's that expression on your face? What does century soup taste like? Komatsu was shaken awake and didn't hear what Toriko said at all. He immersed himself in the deliciousness of the century soup again. What's that expression on your face? Have you memorized the taste? I can't forget this delicious soup even if I wanted to, Mr. Toriko. Seeing Komatsu's look, the others became anxious and regretted that it was not them who got to drink the soup of the century. Li Ziming looked at their impatient expressions and just laughed. I forgot to tell you, that's not the last soup of the century. What I have here is the last soup of the century. Well. When everyone heard what Li Ziming said, they were stunned for a moment. It turned out that century soup was still available, but they were just putting it aside. Just as they were there, a figure came to the front of the iceberg, and several hands holding plates stretched out from their clothes. In a split second, the Parasite Lord and Hell Bolus who were fighting in the air were killed instantly. This person is none other than Bishokyukai's waiter and Mitara's personal bodyguard, Alyafalo. Chapter 72. Get the silver achievement, lots of arms, lots of plates to carry. Achievement reward, 100 points. Li Ziming, who was below, heard the system's prompt and immediately understood that it was the gourmet waiter Alyafalo who came over. Since he is here, it is obvious that Grandma Jinai will come as well. Come on, Mina-san, it's time to leave. Let typing lead them out of the cave nearby, and Li Ziming returned to the place where the battle took place before. As expected, Arufalo and two branch chiefs came in front of Tomirod, and behind them was Granny Setsuno in her pajamas. The moment they saw Li Ziming appear, the people of Bishokyukai entered combat mode, and Alyafalo also took out a plate. But the next second, he was directly torn apart by the roar of Granny Setsuno. Obviously, even though Granny Setsuno was old, she was still very powerful. After all, she was Jiro's partner. Alyafalo, sensing something was wrong, immediately called the branch chief and left with Tomirod. Li Ziming saw this and did not stop him. After all, he was a member of Bishokyukai and could still be of some use. Granny Setsuno, go pick up Toriko and the others first. I have something else to do. Oh, Oh, sure. You go and do your work first. Grandma Jinai looked at the clouds floating in the sky and almost understood what was going on. Coming to the top of the somersault cloud, Li Ziming was very happy to see the reunited family of three. After some cheerful persuasion and Li Ziming's persuasion, they also believed that their children would have a better future. After putting them on the ice, the two wall penguins, eating the golden puffer whale, which nourishes yin and replenishes yang, left happily. Now that the big one has left, they have to practice a small one. When Xiaohu comes back in the future and sees that he has younger brothers and sisters, I think he will be very happy. Xiaohu? Looking at Xiaohu saying goodbye happily, who could have thought that it was the last ingredient of the century soup? Without it, Grandma Jinai had not been able to make the century soup after decades of research. Komatsu also met Xiaohu, which was probably a blessing from his food luck. After several months of research, he finally completed the century soup at the critical moment. Holding his beloved little Coco, Li Ziming rode on the somersault cloud and rushed towards the pink jellyfish in the distance. Soon they arrived in front of the transport jellyfish and went inside through the entrance. Everyone was happily eating the food prepared by Grandma Setsuno. Looking around, Coco, Toriko and others were eating, while Teppei was being scolded by Grandma Setsuno. Everyone was having a great time. When Xiaohu was handed to Komatsu, he was very happy to see it. He finally had an animal companion, and it was so cute. Treat him well, Komatsu. Affirmative, Mr. Li Ziming. After dealing with Komatsu and Xiaohu, Li Ziming also sat next to Toriko and started eating delicious food. It was the food cooked by Grandma Setsuno, which was so delicious. I am so happy that I am eating fried pork liver with leeks in my left hand and eating the paradise rice ball with my right hand. It didn't take long before everyone finished eating all the dishes on the table, and then it was time for the main event. Li Ziming took out the last soup of the century from the system backpack, and in an instant, the aurora floated out. Seeing the century soup, everyone's eyes were attracted to it and their appetites continued to rise. This is the soup of the century. Even though it's not much, it's enough for everyone to drink. This is the soup of the century, it smells so good, what a beautiful aurora. Grandma Eugenie took out small bowls and scooped a small bowl for everyone present, including Zonkai and his younger brothers. But at this moment, Maki and his younger brothers from the food underworld, as well as Takimaru and others were in trouble. After all, one of them wanted to use the century soup to buy ingredients, and the other wanted to use the century soup to buy panacea. Seeing this, Li Ziming first said to Maki, "You sold a century of soup, but that only fed the children for a few months at best. But you drank the century soup, your strength has increased, and you will be able to catch higher level ingredients in the future. You must pay attention to sustainable development." Hearing this, Maki suddenly realized, yes, as long as they are strong, they will not only have the right to speak, but also can catch more ingredients. Obviously, they have been stuck in a dead end before. Then Li Ziming said to Takimaru, "It's the same for you. There is a country of panacea for healing. You can ask Teppei for the specific situation." "Yes, my master has the panacea, but he doesn't want money. As long as your reason is right, he might give it to you for free." After hearing this, Takimaru burst into tears with excitement. In order to save Amaru, he was willing to exchange everything for the panacea. After untying the knot in the hearts of the two people, everyone put their hands together. "Thanks to all the ingredients in the world, we are going to drink the soup of the century." The bowls distributed to everyone were crystal clear, as if there was nothing in them. There were only dots of aurora, proving the existence of this soup of the century. Coupled with the indescribable fragrance, the ingredients that are rich in hundreds of years old seemed to be playing the final movement. I took a sip of the century soup from the bowl. The rich flavor hit my taste buds, and the flavors of hundreds of ingredients spread in the air, which was extremely delicious. Swallow it, and a delicious taste that has been passed down from ancient times to the present day fills every corner of the body, bringing an unprecedented sense of satisfaction. At the same time, the corners of everyone's eyes drooped and the corners of their mouths gradually rose. Because the century soup was too delicious and too appetizing, they couldn't control their expressions and wanted to smile. Li Ziming looked around and saw silly and obscene expressions everywhere, and then he made a hee-hee-hee sound. This whole scene was recorded by Tina's camera not far away. Many people's faces appeared in Li Ziming's mind at this moment, such as the Omni King, Whis, Beerus, and the Tsundere Prince Vegeta. Will their faces look like this after drinking the century soup? Just as everyone was immersed in the deliciousness of the century soup, Toriko suddenly stood up and spoke to them. I want to add the soup of the century to my life menu. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. After all, this was the last soup of the century and they would never be able to drink it again. So, Komatsu, it's up to you to reproduce the soup of the century. Well, Mr. Toriko, I will definitely make a copy of it. When everyone saw the two of them, they were sincerely happy for them and believed that Komatsu could reproduce the century soup. After all, the last drop of the gourmet showcase was chosen by Komatsu. Soon, riding on the jellyfish, they arrived at their destination, the land of healing. Chapter 73. Li Ziming and his group, sitting on a carrier jellyfish, arrived at the entrance of the healing country life. Looking from the air, it looks like one ring after another, and the area is very vast. In the middle of the healing kingdom, there is a huge tree. I think that is the base of the regeneration master. We're finally here. This is the land of healing, life. Achieve silver achievement, a country of health and physical therapy. Achievement reward, 100 points. As the carrier jellyfish landed, countless healing butterflies followed and attached themselves to their bodies. Healing butterfly, insect capture level 1 or below. The blue healing butterfly landed on Maki's body, while the red butterfly landed on Maki's little brother and Toriko's broken arm. According to the characteristics of the healing butterfly, if a butterfly of two colors lands on someone, it means that the person is in danger of life. Fortunately, no one had a butterfly of two colors. The moment when the carrier jellyfish stretched out its tentacles was better than the trio running away to enjoy the services of the healing kingdom. At this moment, Komatsu suddenly spoke to Granny Setsuno. Granny Setsuno, I want to go back to the hotel right away and start recreating the soup of the century. Why don't you take a break for a while? No, I want to replicate it as soon as possible, using ingredients from this century. I see. Then, after telling everyone, Granny Setsuno let Toriko and the others treat their injuries in the healing kingdom, while she took Komatsu back to the hotel first. Everyone who learned the news also offered their blessings to Komatsu. Go Komatsu! Komatsu-kun, come on! Please, Komatsu! Okay. After everyone offered their blessings, they stepped down from the jellyfish, looked at Granny Setsuno, and left with Komatsu, Xiaohu, and Tina. Although there are some differences from the original work, with this pressure, Komatsu was able to reproduce it in just a few months. Afterwards, Taiping took Li Ziming and his group to visit the healing kingdom, and then walked towards the tree in the center. Here, there are injured people everywhere, some with broken bones, some in wheelchairs, but basically they are all elderly people. After all, there is a clinic every 3 steps and a hospital every 5 steps. There are healing places everywhere, such as whitening places over there, bathing places over here, and even places for acupuncture. When Toriko saw this, she instantly became excited and ran towards the acupuncture site with great interest. What is this? This is our specialty, cactus doctor. What? There is such a thing. Toriko just jumped up and lay down. The thorns of the cactus pierced into Toriko's body. In an instant, the fatigue subsided a lot. Seeing this, everyone hurried forward and lay down, enjoying the acupuncture massage from the cactus doctor. Seeing this scene, Taiping was very speechless. Now is not the time to experience it. But Toriko was not someone Taiping could dissuade. She would go in to take a look at everything she saw and experience it, wasting a lot of time. But soon he stopped himself because he saw 3 familiar people, namely brothers Zonkai. The 3 of them lay on the back of the hot spring shark, enjoying the service of the doctor fish. However, Zonkai was so nervous that he thought the doctor fish was going to eat him. He was so scared that he immediately attacked the doctor fish. When Toriko saw this, she left immediately in embarrassment. She didn't know him at all. Everyone then headed towards the central tree, but not long after they walked up the stairs, they were splashed with water by people taking a bath. Feel sorry. Ah, Sunny. Toriko, Li Ziming. After Sunny put on his clothes, he invited everyone to a nearby restaurant. Toriko didn't expect to meet him here. But Li Ziming knew that this was already Sunny's home, and she could be here 7 days a week, eating whitening food and taking care of her skin. Of course, he came here with a purpose this time, which was to find clues about the last dessert ingredient in his life menu, the dessert in the life menu of the food god Acacia, and Earth. Although there are many different opinions about the previous life, Li Ziming still feels that after Sunny got the clue from Yusaku and went to the food world, he met the queen snake. After thinking about it, he decided not to stop him, since Yusaku was following him anyway. At this time, Sunny also noticed Toriko's injuries. "Ah, what happened to you? You're seriously injured, and your arm is gone. You just discovered it." At this moment, not far away, a person with a different style from this world started arguing with the waiter. That person was Teppei's master, the top regeneration master Yusaku. Rules are made to be broken. Achieve Gold Achievement, Red Regeneration Master, and Work Gold Achievement, 1000 points. Looking at Yusaku's appearance, Li Ziming suspected that he had traveled from the world of One Piece. He looked very much like a pirate. When Taiping heard this voice, he awkwardly shouted to that person, "Master." "Ah, Teppei, you're finally back, ha 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 ha." After Yusaku came over and heard about Teppei's journey, he laughed out loud, but Teppei's next words made him shudder. "Master, you didn't go in person," and Granny Setsuno was very angry. "What the hell, Granny G is here." Seeing Yusaku and Teppei talking about century soup, Li Ziming asked them to stop. If two chatterboxes were together, they would make noise all day long. After all, there were still injured people here. Seeing this, Yusaku asked everyone to follow him and led them all the way to the Regeneration Division's base, the Gourmet Inn. On the way, he also learned about the requests of the people who came here. One wanted to treat his arm, one wanted a panacea, and one wanted to treat his brother. Not long after, everyone arrived at the rebirth place of Yusaku. The moment you push open the door, what comes into view is the extinct beast, the chalk bird, and the good morning rose, and there are countless traces of failure on the ground. "Okay, now it's your turn." I saw Yusaku immediately elbowed the three wounded men and used a set of awakening shocks to wake them up from their slumber, and then threw them into the healing tulips. It is estimated that it won't take long to heal the injuries of the three people. The next turn was Maki. Under everyone's surprised gaze, she spat a mouthful of thick phlegm and smeared it on the wound. "Ah! You old man! Ha 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 ha!" Then it was Takamura's turn. Yusaku knew that he came to ask for a panacea, so he told him that his medicine was only effective for human diseases, and there was a high chance that it would not be effective for diseases in the gourmet world, which could be said to be a curse. One pill costs 10 billion, and there's only a slight chance of healing. Are you sure you want it? Please sell it to me. Although I can't pay you now, I will repay you with my whole life. And the person who took the medicine was not me, but that person. Even if there is only a 0.1% chance of recovery, he will definitely be able to break this conclusion. Yusaku was very happy to hear this. Yes, rules are meant to be broken, and at this moment he liked this kid very much, so he decided to give the elixir to Takimaru for free, letting him use it however he wanted. "Thank you." The last one is Toriko. Although this is the first time Yusaku meets him, he looks energetic and doesn't look like a person with a missing arm at all. "You look pretty good, Toriko. Let me help you grow your arms." "Really? How long will it take for it to grow out?" Yusaku thought about it, and then gave Toriko an answer, "Probably, it will take 20 years. E=Omicron**. Chapter 74. Upon hearing that it would take 20 years to regenerate Toriko's severed arm, everyone except Li Ziming exclaimed in amazement. At the same time, there was a surprised voice coming from the door. Everyone looked in the direction of the voice and found that it was Sunny's sister, Ling. I think she also heard what Yusaku said just now, and then ran directly to Yusaku's side. "I really beg you, can you heal Toriko's arm as soon as possible? If you can't, I'll let you experience the smell of a stinky devil durian." Looking at the aggressive Ling, Yusaku also felt that she was as difficult to deal with as Grandma Setsunori. Seeing this, Li Ziming quickly stopped Ling's action and sent her to Toriko. "Toriko, that looks like it hurts." "Okay, if it takes 20 years to regenerate, then for the others, Toriko, it will probably only take a few months." "Is this true?" "It's possible. After all, everyone's physique is different." After hearing what Li Ziming said, Yuzo also expressed his own opinion. However, regenerating the arm requires a quiet atmosphere and a well-rested body, and the current environment is obviously not suitable for regeneration. As it was getting dark, Yusaku asked everyone to rest for a night and regenerate tomorrow. After all, Toriko was already very tired. The next morning, everyone's injuries had basically recovered, and it was time for Maki, his younger brothers, and Takimaru to leave. For this reason, Li Ziming brought Toriko and the others to the station to see them off. Once Komatsu's century soup is finished, let's get together again. Okay. We're looking forward to it. Please do your best to help Toriko-san's rebirth. After seeing off a few people, they returned to Yusaku's rebirth center. However, as soon as they came back, they were sent out by Yusaku to buy food. Although Yusaku didn't say why, Li Ziming knew that it was because regenerating the arm required a lot of nutrients. If it couldn't keep up, Toriko might be absorbed by Yusaku's regeneration seed. But Li Ziming just took 2 steps and then stopped. Why did he walk? There were still so many puffer whales, BB popcorns and other ingredients in the system backpack, and Toriko had to eat them for the time being. What's more, he knows a food wholesaler, so why not just call him? Hey, Tom, it's me. What's the matter? Do you have any good ingredients to sell? Of course not. Something happened to Toriko. Now she needs to eat a lot of food. She needs to be transported directly to the Gourmet Inn in the healing country to find the regeneration master Yusaku. By the way, Toriko pays. Li Ziming then returned to Yusaku's rebirth center, only to see Yusaku holding a razor and starting to shave Toriko's hair. Not long after, Toriko's hair suddenly became a buzz cut, and the whole person was stunned. There's no way. The seed of regeneration needs a lot of DNA to grow, so it needs so much hair. Seeing this, Li Ziming also took out his camera and took a photo of Toriko as a souvenir. Hey, Yamalu, have you finished buying the ingredients? I just thought you forgot, but in order to make sure you had enough to eat, I asked Tom for help. As expected of you. Okay, quiet down. Yusaku took out a seed, put it into the flower pot filled with Toriko's hair, and dripped a mysterious liquid on it. In a flash, the seed grew into a bright flower. When it bloomed, a golden ball appeared in the middle of the flower. This was the real seed of regeneration, which contained all of Toriko's DNA information, including the information of her left arm. Just put this seed of regeneration into the wound and you'll be done. But please note that it is as fragile as a soap bubble and needs to be handled with care. Yusaku slowly took out the golden seed of regeneration and came to Toriko's side. Unexpectedly, at this time, his nose began to itch. The golden seed of regeneration was directly crushed by him. Feel sorry. What are you doing? Ha 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 ha. Seeing this scene, Li Ziming couldn't stop laughing again. It turned out that the apprentice has to have the credit of his master. First, typing let the cat out of the bag, and then he and Zo crushed the seed of rebirth. They are worthy of being master and apprentice. After another busy period, new seeds of regeneration appeared, but at the cost of only a thin layer of Toriko's hair left. This time, it was very successful. After a while, Yusaku tremblingly placed the seed into Toriko's wound. Now he just had to wait for Toriko's body to merge with the seed of regeneration. Soon, the brother and sister Sunny and Ling came back with a lot of food. Seeing this, Toriko walked out of the healing jelly. In order to regenerate his left arm, he even skipped breakfast. But as soon as he took a step, his body suddenly became much thinner, and being skinny was very true to his situation at the moment. Eat quickly, Toriko, or you'll die. Li Ziming immediately took out the flesh of the rainbow fruit and stuffed it into Toriko's mouth. After he ate it, his body gradually began to recover. It turned out that energy-rich food is the key. Sunny, Ling, we don't have enough ingredients, go buy some more. Oh. Afterwards, Toriko ate the delicious food, drank rainbow juice, and began to quickly dissect puffer whales. After a short while, he successfully dissected 100 of them, which was enough for Toriko to eat for several days. Just as I finished cooking here, I heard the sound of countless helicopters outside. I went out to take a look and saw that it was Tom, the food supplier. There were dozens of planes floating in the sky, each with several containers underneath, which were obviously filled with food. Tom, the food supplier, is here as promised. After coordination with Zo and Tom, the ingredients in the containers were soon piled up near Zia Gourmet Inn. When Tom came down, he saw Toriko, whose left arm was broken, eating frantically, but he couldn't stop and didn't even have time to reply. How long will he eat like this? Li Ziming thought for a moment, then said to Tom, it will probably take a few months. Thank you for your hard work during this period. Try to bring as much food as possible. No problem. Okay, when Toriko recovers, I'll treat you to the legendary century soup. Really? That's awesome. Tom left in a helicopter. With his food supply, Toriko will not be short of food during this period. Besides, there are Sunny and Ling, as well as Tetsuhei and Yusaku here. It all depends on Toriko from now on. Li Ziming himself was also planning to take advantage of the few months when Toriko's arm regenerated to return to Shilin Temple and begin his final Shi'ai special training. Now, after experiencing so much and eating so many delicious foods, he should be able to understand that the last bit of food is gone. After turning around and saying goodbye to Toriko, Li Ziming also rode on the somersault cloud and flew towards the direction of Shilin Temple. Chapter 75. Li Ziming rode on the somersault cloud and returned to the main campus of Shilin Temple in a few hours. Looking around, he also found the acting teacher Fan Xiu, and the somersault cloud slowly descended and came in front of him. Hey, Xiu, long time no see. Oh, Li Ziming, you're back. How did you feel about your experience? I have gained a lot of insights. It depends on how Zhenzhen Town Normal School evaluates it. Then you should go and report to the teacher first. The teacher is eating Zen. Afterwards, Li Ziming also walked towards the main hall where Master Zhenzhen was, and as soon as he arrived at the courtyard, he saw many soap bubble fruits floating on the pool not far away. Although Li Ziming knew it was fake, he still came to the pool and tried to catch it with his hands. This time, he touched it easily, and the soap bubble fruit did not break. It seemed that it also recognized his practice. The happy Li Ziming walked towards the main hall, pushed open the door, and saw Master Zhenzhen sitting in the middle of the hall, meditating. The place was full of mind-seeking pens and grass. At this moment, Master Zhenzhen stood up, turned around and looked at Li Ziming, and immediately noticed his abnormality. Although he was full of gratitude, he felt that something was missing. I'm back, Ziming Li. Zhenzhen Town Normal School. I'm Li Ziming, and I'm ready. Hearing this, Zhenzhen Town Normal School also understood what he meant, although Li Ziming had already reached the basic requirements for comprehending food. But in his current state, it is difficult to comprehend food and make the soap bubble fruit appear. Zhenzhen Normal School took Li Ziming and walked towards the back mountain of Shilin Temple. When they opened the back door, what came into view were countless bubbles of various colors. Obviously, this was the way of bubbles. This bubble road is where you can comprehend food and capture soap bubble fruit. You need to get to the end, and the bubble fruit is very shy. You can't eat or drink anything on the way, so don't use your ability to take out food. Of course, I will lead you to the right path. Are you ready? Let's go. Ready, Master. The two soon set foot on this foam road, with Master Zhenzhen walking in front and Li Ziming following behind. This path of bubbles was endless, and with the countless bubbles of various colors nearby, it was impossible to tell how long we had been walking. But Li Ziming didn't care and just followed along, his heart filled with basic etiquette of dining and gratitude. Time passed little by little, and Li Ziming also followed Master Zhenzhen for a long time, from day to night, and from night to day. Li Ziming was sweating profusely at the moment. After learning the etiquette of eating, he greatly reduced the calories he consumed. But without food supply, the energy loss in his body was very serious. Although he understood that this was also a process of cultivation, a little fluctuation still emerged in his heart. Another day passed, and Li Ziming had lost half his weight. After the previous days of training and eating delicious food, he not only grew to 190 centimeters in height, but also weighed 300 kilograms. But at this moment, his weight has decreased by 150 kilograms compared to before. Although he can still hold on for a while, he won't be able to hold on for long. After Li Ziming felt his body at this moment, he suddenly felt that he was too confident. After such a long time, the soap bubble fruit had not appeared. It was obvious that he was still missing something. The wave of gratitude in his heart began to waver at this moment. He was a time traveler with a system. Was he really going to starve to death? Master Zhenzhen, seeing his situation, naturally noticed Li Ziming's abnormality, but this was also a test, and then turned around and continued to lead him forward. 2 days later, two figures appeared in Li Ziming's mind. One of them told him to leave quickly. It didn't matter if he couldn't comprehend the power of food. He could just go back and continue to lie down and do bad things. Anyway, just follow the plot, Toriko and the others will become stronger slowly. One more thing, persistence is victory. Now that we are here, we must understand the meaning of eating and capture the soap bubble fruit. Don't follow the plot. We are Saiyans, fight, fight, fight. Soon, Li Ziming became extremely annoyed by their noise. Shut up! Li Ziming was so angry that he exploded, but after the explosion, he fell to the ground. At this time, he was so thin that he only weighed a few dozen pounds. But then, Li Ziming stood up again. It was not because of anything else, it was because Li Ziming's body started to self-eat for the first time. The S cells in the body begin to devour cells in the body at this moment, providing energy by killing weak cells. But this energy replenished by self-feeding only lasted for half an hour, and Li Ziming fell down again. The S cells in the front capture other cells, and the S cells in the back devour the weak S cells. At this moment, Li Ziming's condition was very bad. He began to hear a faint heartbeat from his body, and a kaleidoscope of images began to appear in his mind, including a red-eyed gorilla that had transformed into a gigantic ape. I'm going to die. I'm sorry, I didn't expect that a Saiyan like me with a system would end up starving to death. Thank you so much, System Master, for bringing me across time and allowing me to live my life again, but I'm sorry that I'm dead like this. And to all the ingredients that came to the world of food, chose me, and became a part of my body, thank you for providing me with combat power and energy. Grateful. As time passed, Li Ziming's consciousness gradually weakened, but his gratitude did not diminish at all. Soon, Li Ziming's body, which had been gradually cooling down, gradually began to warm up, as if it was wrapped in something. Looking back, this is the temperature of life and the warmth of ingredients that I have tasted countless times. When he opened his eyes, he saw countless golden soap bubble fruits appearing in the foam road, floating around him. This is the real soap bubble fruit. Just eat as much as you can, immerse yourself in the ingredients, and understand what you are eating. Suddenly, a golden soap bubble fruit appeared at the corner of Li Ziming's mouth. He sucked it gently and the soap bubble fruit went into his mouth. When Li Ziming took a bite of the soap bubble fruit, both his body and mind felt how delicious it was. With every chew, the soap bubble fruit gradually breaks into pieces in your mouth, and at the same time, countless carbonic acid emerges, just like eating jelly as sweet as honey. After swallowing, the soap bubble fruit passed through the esophagus and into the stomach. Li Ziming felt an incomparable sense of satisfaction. At this moment, there was only one thought in his mind: thank you soap bubble fruit for choosing him and becoming a part of my body, thank you. Master Zhen Zhen suddenly stretched out a huge soup spoon, filled it with countless soap bubble fruits, and then said to him: Li Ziming, eat as much as you can, there are plenty of soap bubble fruits.
If you're enjoying the story so far and want to hear the next parts, don't forget to like the video. It really helps the channel grow. And if you'd like me to continue the series, drop a comment below letting me know. Your feedback and support keep these audiobooks going strong. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in the next one.